Engkau berkatilah majlis ilmu kami pada hari ini, ya Allah. Ya Dzal Jalali wal Ikram. Kurniakanlah kepada kami kesihatan anggota, kecerdasan minda, ketenangan jiwa, hidayah petunjuk darimu dan kebaikan dunia dan akhirat. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana jam'an marhuma wa tafarraqna min ba'dihi tafarraqan ma'suma. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzaban nar. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wasallam walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Seterusnya, majlis mempersilakan Yang Berusaha Profesor Teknologis Dr. Ainuddin Wahid Abdul Wahab, Ketua Pustakawan Universiti Malaya, untuk memberikan ucapan alu-aluan sebagai pembuka majlis ilmu kita pada pagi ini. Dengan hormatnya dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Yang Berusaha Profesor TS Dr. Khairul Azril bin Ismail, Timbalan Rektor Akademi Seni Budaya dan Warisan Kebangsaan, ahli-ahli panel yang berada di belakang tu, okay. Tadi juga Prof Siti bersama kita pada pagi ini, dan para peserta, para hadirat yang dihormati sekalian. Selamat datang dan terima kasih atas kesudian untuk meluangkan masa bagi menghadiri forum NFT, Art, Technology and Legal Considerations pada pagi ini. Syukur kehadrat ilahi kerana dengan izinnya dapat kita berkumpul dan meraihkan atau kita bersama-sama dalam satu majlis diskusi ilmiah pada pagi ini. Izinkan saya berkongsi sedikit maklumat berkaitan dengan forum ini. Forum ini bertujuan untuk menjelaskan tentang NFT, iaitu Non-Fungible Token, dan mengupas berkenaan asas-asas serta aplikasi NFT. Justru forum ini disasarkan untuk memberikan manfaat bagi semua lapisan daripada ahli bidang sehinggalah kepada masyarakat awam. NFT secara dasarnya adalah aset digital berasaskan teknologi blockchain. So, blockchain merupakan satu teknologi yang mampu mengubah pelbagai industri. Kita dapat lihat ada banyak aplikasi blockchain pada masa kini. Dan dengan menggunakan blockchain, ianya akan membantu untuk memperbaiki cara kita melakukan transaksi, berkongsi maklumat dan membina kepercayaan. Okay. Secara dasarnya, blockchain juga dicirikan sebagai rekod ledger digital yang decentralised dalam bahasa Inggeris, dalam merekod transaksi komputer-komputer dengan satu cara yang dapat memastikan data tidak dapat diubah secara retrospektif. Sifat desentralisasi ini memberikan blockchain kelebihan apabila kawalan data tidak berpusat kepada satu entiti, sebaliknya integriti dapat dilestarikan melalui kesepakatan para pengguna. Agak teknikal sedikit, tapi insyaAllah nanti dalam forum kita akan dapat lebih jelaslah tentang bagaimana blockchain ini digunakan di dalam NFT, insyaAllah. Galeri Seni Universiti Malaya mempunyai sejumlah koleksi yang sekaligus merupakan aset Universiti Malaya. So, dalam hal ini NFT dilihat mempunyai potensi untuk diguna pakai sekiranya kita berhasrat untuk mengkomersialisasikan aset yang kita ada di UM ini. Galeri Seni Universiti Malaya juga mendukung konsep future driven dalam bidang kuratorial dan permuzinan university. Antara kemungkinan untuk mengadakan pamerannya antaranya adalah untuk mengadakan pameran berbentuk augmented reality ataupun AR, dan juga VR, iaitu virtual reality, yang sekaligus menjadi sistem sokongan bagi artis tempatan membangunkan potensi melalui penjualan karya seni di platform virtual galeri seni dengan menggunakan NFT. Kita cuba explore kemungkinan yang berkenaan. Walau bagaimanapun, beberapa soalan juga mungkin akan diajukan, kita mungkin akan dengar dalam forum sebentar nanti, seperti adakah terdapat sebarang cabaran dan kekangan dalam menggunakan pakai teknologi NFT ini. dan sejauh manakah elemen legal ataupun perundangan perlu dipertimbangkan dalam penggunaan NFT dalam bidang seni. Semoga mekanisme dan kerelevanan untuk idea future driven ini dapat dianalisis daripada forum yang akan diadakan, dan forum ini juga dengan harapannya akan dapat menzahirkan komitmen Universiti Malaya terhadap bidang seni, teknologi dan juga perundangan. Hadirin dan hadirat yang dirahmati Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, kami mengucapkan terima kasih kepada semua yang terlibat, khususnya Galeri Seni Universiti Malaya atas penganjuran forum pada pagi ini. Tanpa membuang masa, marilah kita bersama-sama mengambil manfaat daripada forum pada hari ini untuk kebaikan di masa hadapan. Sekian, terima kasih dan selamat berforum.
Majlis merakamkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan dan terima kasih atas ucapan alu-aluan oleh Yang Berusaha Profesor Teknologis Dr. Ainuddin Wahid Abdul Wahab, Ketua Pustakawan Universiti Malaya sebentar tadi. Bagi acara seterusnya, Yang Berusaha Prof, saya mohon izin untuk bertutur dalam dua bahasa, bahasa Inggeris untuk manfaat hadirin yang bukan penutur bahasa Melayu. Our respected Prof, Doctor, guest and participant, before we continue, I will have to outline the format of today's talk. Each panelist will be given an hour time to present their case, as well as answering questions, meaning the Q&A session is included within that 1 hour given. The Q&A part will be as follows. For the online viewers, you can just type your question at the comment section. As for the attendees, you can write your questions or raise your hand so that we can pass the mic to you. State your name and occupation, and then the questions. The Q&A session is not meant to be too formal. It could be like a little chat with appropriacy, of course. Para hadirin yang dihormati sekalian, tanpa melengahkan masa, majlis akan diteruskan dengan sesi pertama yang akan dibentangkan oleh Encik Muhammad DW. Dipersilakan ke hadapan Encik Muhammad. Berikan tepukan. Sebelum itu, izinkan saya memperkenalkan sedikit latar belakang Encik Muhammad DW. Mr. Muhammad co-founded Pentas.io, a leading NFT marketplace in Southeast Asia. He is a law graduate from Northumbria University, England, and received his Master of Business Administration from Cardiff Metropolitan University, Wales. So both of his certificates came from UK, basically. Prior to his endeavors at Pentas.io, he served as head of the company at one of the largest Malaysian private conglomerates. He also was a business development director for a cybersecurity company that provides services to government agencies. With Pentas, Muhammad gained expertise in blockchain technology, digital asset management, and the creation and sales of the non-fungible token. Muhammad is passionate about using technology and revolutionizing the way we interact and value art and other digital assets. These are some of the background of our first speaker. Without further ado, Mr. Muhammad, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much to our Master of Ceremony, I suppose. Ladies and gentlemen, Dato, Datin, or Doctor, Professor, allow me to apologize upfront for probably I might be quite candid along this presentation, so to speak, because normally the way I share things are a bit casual, and if you guys don't mind that I don't even bring along my presentation slides. So normally what I do is like I'm having like a conversation kind of session normally, because based on my previous talks or lecture, this is the best approach, I suppose, then, so that even the crowds, they don't feel that it's kind of too formal for them to later on to ask me anything that puzzle themselves. All right. First thing first, again, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and to put me together with two other distinguished speaker, Dr. Ishak and Dr. Roslina. I am truly honored. These two speakers are really, really, in my own word, awesome. I've checked out on them, so they have done a tremendous work. Thank you again. All right. Without further ado, I'm pretty sure that all of you would want to know what is blockchain and what is NFT. Of course, before we go to NFT, I have to tell or at least briefly mention about what is blockchain. So to simplify what is blockchain, it is a distributed ledger, or to give a better analogy, I like to use this analogy whereby all of us in this room now, assuming all of you guys have a piece of paper that I wrote, I owe our master of ceremony, Mr. Umar, 100 ringgit. So all of you guys have that copy, a piece of paper written down a data that I owe Mr. Umar 100 ringgit. So that is a public data, a known data, because all of you guys have a copy, So if tomorrow I decided I would like to adjust or alter that to put like, maybe I owe him 90 ringgit or 80 ringgit, automatically all of you guys can validate that in the sense that no, this is not right, because what we have, the copy that we have, shows that you own 100 ringgit, So this is in a nutshell what blockchain is all about, whereby one, the data is public, and second, the data is transparent, and third, it came with a security in the sense that because it has one of the most important element, which is, you call it, immutable. It means nobody can edit. Nobody can edit. If you guys are familiar with Google Documents, I'm sure um, if someone give you a link, you have two options or two things that you can do. One link is only allow you to view. Another link is allow you to be a contributor, or you can edit that document. So it works quite similar. There are things that you can only view in a blockchain. There are things that you can not edit but add on. So how do you add on? You need to be part of the consensus, everything. So technically, this is the most fundamental or things that we need to understand about blockchain, which is, again, the transparency, the immutability characteristic, and security. So because of this, that we never had before, and when this happened in our digital life, finally it give birth to NFT. Because without the characteristic of blockchain, there will not be an NFT. Okay, how does that NFT work in the relation of this blockchain? So NFT is simple. It stands for non-fungible token. I like to use this analogy whenever I refer to NFT. I think this is the best way to simplify and to explain what is NFT and explain the characteristic of NFT. All of us know that none of us in this room, or as a matter of wherever, which part of the world are we from, we don't carry a same thumbprint. None of us. Even if we are born as a twin, identical twin, none of us have an identical thumbprint. I believe that everybody knows this. So this is the best way for me to explain what is NFT. All right, because each piece of NFT carries their own so-called metadata. What do you have in this metadata? The time stamping, the date of created, the ID of the creator. So it's almost impossible for anyone to actually duplicate this or to compromise this piece of data. So NFT, when you have NFT now, automatically there are so many digital contents, digital product can have value. I'm not saying that before NFT there's no value, but the moment that you can put a tag, which is an identity, it's like you're taking an IC, or formally put your passport number at every piece of your digital item or digital tools. It's recognizable, as simple as that. So this is very important, because with this it has revolutionized the whole industry, especially for the creator content industry, or some people they call it in or UGC. So this is very important, and for me, it's a momentous moment that when this happened, there's so many things that we can cover. A lot of people thought that this specific NFT, although it was made popularized by a funny pictures, I'm sure by now you guys have Googled it. You found so many funny pictures or image. But please try to depart from that assumption, because it was not only used for that. It can use further and beyond of that. Basically, the use case of NFT is far and beyond just a lousy image or funny image. But then of course, because of that, it has made NFT popular in the sense that how people utilize NFT. So one of the best simple again things example that I can relate with all of you guys when using or utilizing NFT is, assuming if you are a musician, right? So you produce a music. Before, if you know how does the music industry work, is that you have to go to the record label. The record label will hire a production company. Record label will hire a marketing agency. Record label will hire a promotional agency. So end of the day, assuming if you made 100 ringgit out of one album, probably your earning will be only about 15 ringgit, 20 ringgit, because you have so many people that you have to pay first, you know. So when you have this NFT, finally it has revolutionized, or I would say democratized, how the content creator or digital creator, to be specific, earn their incomes, the reliability, I'm not saying that now we don't need a record label, don't get me wrong, but now there are so many independent artists like you and me can start earning without having to go into a formal way of having this record label, a promotional company, and so on. What is more interesting about this is that if you understand the music concept, they also earn royalty, not just from their album selling. So assuming if their music is being played by the radios or televisions, they earn royalty from based on viewership and listeners. All right. So NFT protects that. When it comes to NFT, whatever that their pieces that they or content that they have created or published or produced, every time it changes hand of secondary market, because they have something called smart contract. Smart contract is a bit technical. So again, to simplify, what is the smart contract in NFT is a small computer programming that you can already put in your NFT when you created an NFT, whereby you can actually set your royalty. This is the best part. Like a lot of people, mainly for a fine artist, digital artist, they love this, because every time of their piece or they produce changes of hand, automatically the royalty that they set, the portion of that will be going to their account straight away, without any third party, without any directors, without any agencies. So this is among one of the most, I would say, interesting things that make a lot of people suddenly wanted to be a content creator or digital creator. So you see, this is from only one part. We talk about probably is relevant with the fine art, relevant with the musician, relevant with the producer, but the use case of NFT is further and beyond that. Let's just assume, just visualize that artist just now he wants to organize a concert, for example. Do you know that your concert ticket can be NFT as well? And why? Then you must be wondering, okay, why do we need a concert ticket to be NFT? I can just buy a normal ticket. What if I tell you, if you were to buy my NFT ticket concert, for my next concert or my next concert, you probably will be buying at a 30% discount rate or 20% discount rate. And if you are lucky, out of my 10,000 seat, if you are the first 50 buyers, you have a special pass, which is backstage access to me. So these are the things that you can factor in directly into NFT or your smart contract just now. So this is transparent. This is clear, whereby you cannot cheat on this, because everything is computer programming, and this is happening. This is not something that I just ask you guys to visualize, but this has already happening. You know, later on, if you have time, you have a bit of free time, you can Google which artists have done this. I know which famous band have uh, conduct their concert in this. And I'm sure that I saw a lot of gentlemen here. You guys are football fan, I presume. You know that Barcelona have sold their exhibition match in Japan using NFT as well, and Barcelona have their own NFT gallery, and a lot of big football clubs actually jumping into this. You know, and again, later on, you guys have, if you have time, you can Google this. I'm giving this example so that we can relate with our daily routine, so it wouldn't be as complicated as it sounds, you know. So apart from that, the use case can also be many other things, you know. But of course, mainly that close to us is concert, because entertainment is a big thing. Sports, which is football, and also it can be also another source of revenue for, doesn't matter, it can be an organization, it can be an individual. So when we are trying to make sense, okay, how does this make money for me, for instance, or no, how does this benefited me, you know. If you are a digital content creator, you know, there's no excuse anymore actually. So the question mark is, okay, how do I do this? Where do I start? So this is the part that we go to the next stage, where I should start this first, but I purposely, you know, give you outlook of the industry first, then we go back to how every one of you can be a digital creator instantaneously, you know. So if you have anything digital product, not limited to digital product, if your digital product can be tied up to a physical product as well, not a problem, which is often is the best, because when you have a physical, they call it IRL, in real life experience, tied up with your NFT product, that is often the best. So the first thing first, you need to have a digital product. So assuming all of us have a digital ebook, just to make it simple, you know. So all of you guys have your own books, own research that you guys have compiled. You want it turned into an NFT. How does it work? As simple as, let's just assume now you are composing an email. You have write down all your email. You need to attach a file. So as simple as that. You attach, press click, attach the file. You upload your file, and of course at the back end will convert the file into NFT. This process is called minting. Same as how our central bank are minting our money. You know, that's why we use the same word called minting. So minting process is the process whereby from your normal digital product turn into NFT. So this is the in between, this called minting. This is the part I said just now. It will give your and every piece of the digital product an ID. To simplify it, like your passport number or your birth certificate number, you know, because none of us will have the same birth certificate number, none of us will have the same passport number. So this is the important crucial method to distinguish and give value. And often again, people always ask, oh, I need to brought this up again and again, because this is one of the most often question has been raised. Oh, this is just image, you know, not a fancy image. I can right click and save, I still have the image. But that analogy is as if like we go down to the gallery down there, you know, there's so many beautiful fine art. We took a picture, we said, oh, I have the same picture, you know. But end of the day, we are talking about digital ownership here, you know, the ownership of something, you know. All of us can go down and take picture of how many fine arts, but none of us own that. Same with a right click and save concept, whereby, oh, I can just right click and save, this is mine, it's a digital product anyway. But digital ownership, you know, it doesn't stop there, and that's number one. And second, again, what if the digital piece or that NFT give you the benefit beyond just the image, you know? Again, remember I talked about how this can be used as a ticket This can be used as a concert pass. This can be used as a backstage pass. This is happening. You know, some ladies over here, I'm sure that you guys know this brand such as Prada, Louis Vuitton, Tiffany. Do you know, guys, these ladies, this brand has embarked their journey into NFT as well. So why they do this? You know, because their strategy is this: out of their pool customer or target audience, they want to always refine the target audience. So how they do this? When they produce the limited edition of NFT, whoever that purchase this, only whoever that have this piece of NFT have the right to preview a certain specific collection. So this is how the big brands are utilizing NFT at their advantage, you know, and which is end of the day, for me, it is up to us, you and me, as how are we going to use this to our advantage, and how are we going to utilize this. Just allow me to share at the peak of NFT market, which is a few years ago in 2021, the market value at 41 billion. You know, so you guys can Google this just to give you a preview of how big that 41 billion is. Malaysian economy last year, 2023, worth 399 billion. So let's just say 400 billion USD. And our digital fraction out of 399 is only 20 billion, 23 if I'm not mistaken, right? So can you imagine how big that 41 billion is, you know? And again, be reminded, is NFT industry is still considered in infancy stage, you know? And of course, there are a few factors that contributed to the NFT booming in 2021. Of course, all of us were locked down. You know, there are so many things that people used to do, they cannot do, you know, so they have more time to explore and stuff like that. And as of today, as of last year, and as of recently, July 2024, June 2024, the market size is not as big. It has subsided to barely not even 20 billion. But however, according to research, by 2023, the market size for NFT, I'm talking about world market size, is going to be between 150 billion to 230 billion. So the question that we should ask ourselves is that, how can we position ourselves in this industry, and how can we utilize the advantages, and how do we make money? You know, that is, I think, the most interesting part. I think the most driven question for anybody, any of us, is that how do we make money? How do I make money? You know, so I'm sure that with whatever current thing that we are working on, we can find a way how to actually digitalize it and make it an NFT, and make sure that you can, you know, sell it. So again, where do you sell this? Where do you buy NFT? Of course, it works like, again, to simplify it, everybody knows eBay, everybody know Amazon. So it's like an e-commerce platform. So the most famous or known one is called OpenSea. You guys can Google it. Another one is Pentas. But unfortunately, a few days ago, since a few weeks ago, we have some back-end problem. Anyway, so how does it work? It works exactly like Amazon, and it works exactly like eBay, whereby you can list your product and somebody can see it and they can purchase. The transaction will happen on the platform. This is the part that everything is, again, transacted, everything is transparent, everything is recorded, and any subsequent purchase from the first hand or second hand, assuming if I bought from Dr. Ishad, equivalent of $1,000, and if I were to sell again to Dr. Roslina, I can put it 2,000. So since at the beginning, remember I spoke about royalty, Dr. Ishad put a 10% royalty. Automatically, the moment I sold to Dr. Roslina, $100 will, sorry, $200 because of 10% royalty will automatically go to Dr. Ishad, you know, so that's how it works, you know, and subsequent sale and subsequent sale and subsequent sale. That's how it works. So this is one of the characteristic. So you see, when it comes to NFT, again, A lot of people, I'm sure, have their own opinion, and they have some negative perception, which is fine, well taken, because this is how things work. You know, many years ago, during internet days, there's so many skeptics as well, especially after the dot-com crash. There are more critics, more people painted the industry, the IT, also called internet industry, is really, really bad. But who would have thought, like, fast forward 2024, you would buy your groceries online? Who would have thought that you will buy your shirts online? People even bought a car online. You know, who would have thought that? You know, so using the same example, what we think might be strange now. Why do I want to own something digital, especially digital that doesn't peg peg with physical product? You know, I don't feel any ownership because it's digital. Let me ask you this. I'm very sure some of you guys have a young kids. If you don't have a young kids, you'll probably have a nephew or niece that are not even 12 years old. So do me a favor later on, especially if they are age of 9 to 12, you go back home, check first what game are they playing, you know. And secondly, please ask them this question: do you have to buy any coins or any credits, you know? Okay, how does I relate this with NFT? You know that all the games that they're playing, the first thing kids will do is they buy skin. They call it skin. Is like a uniform or like a body, you know, that is called skin, and you have shield and everything. Do you know that every piece of that is potentially NFT? That means every skin will have a digital ID that only that player will own that, you know. And this has been happening in the gaming industry for quite some time. It's just that it hasn't been popularized and it hasn't been angled in this way yet. And of course, some of the gamers production house, they saw this opportunity, you know. When they saw this opportunity, this is where and how they start to make money, you know. And gaming industry is really, really huge. Why I'm giving you this example is because for you and me, this digital product may seems worthless or there's no value in it. But if you want to know what value does it has when it comes to digital product, go home and ask your nephew, your niece, or your kids that are not even 12 years old. They will tell you how they appreciate all this digital item, and you'll be surprised. I don't know about you guys, but I have to keep on topping up my son's credit like non-stop, you know. You know, and I can understand, although I pretend like I don't understand because I don't want to give him that much money. But you know, this is happening. This is how things are moving forward. So this is just to give you some a bridge to connect. Why do I want to be part of this industry? Number one, I don't see value in this digital product. And third, please do not isolate that. When I mention digital product, it can stand alone only digital product. There's so many way of doing in terms of tidying up physical and digital. That means if you purchase my collection NFT from my marketplace, you will also be given a specific physical product, for example, coupled with the digital ID or specific ownership of the item. You know, so this is how people are doing moving forward. I've just given you example about the fashion industry earlier. That's what Prada is doing. That is what LV is doing, whereby you need to buy the NFT for you to access to a certain collection. You know, so this is happening. And apart from that, allow me to share this one beautiful story that I normally don't share it, but I think this is a very, very close to our heart, especially at Pentas, because we launched our product, our marketplace in 2021 during the COVID era. There are so many, you have no idea how many people were in a bad position at that point in time because people are not allowed to go out. A lot of people who earn in gigs economy lose their earnings. you know, and we have a lot of this called street artists that they earn from doing graffiti, they earn from drawing at the restaurant. They don't have that earning at all, and they have family. So when NFT marketplace was launched, this is their refuge. So many of them are able to survive and go through because they earn in this way. You know, they produce all their digital artworks and everything, and it's supported by the community. So this is one of example, but this is probably is a bit too long for you guys to relate. Another thing is that story that close to my heart. It's not in Malaysia, of course. It's in somewhere remote in Pakistan. This one lady, she works with a non-governmental organization that they go to all the rural area. Just to give you an idea how rural this remote village in Pakistan is, that taking a shower or taking a bath and doing a laundry is a luxury, because they don't have even have access to water, the most basic thing, and also electricity. They don't have this, you know, they don't even have access to water. So this lady, when she met them, she realized one thing, that these villages, the only thing that they have with them is a livestock, which is mostly they have a herds of sheep. So this is a story just about a normal individual lady who, for me personally, left a huge impact in a group or community of people. You know, this is also relates to exchange of value, because a lot of us always talk about fiat money. That means I give you money, I get a certain physical product or whatever product, right? So this is how another best example of how blockchain and NFT come into place. So in a remote area whereby, of course, they have no internet, you know, they don't even have water and electricity, you know. So this lady have an idea. So she went to the village's elder. She asked, "Can I buy your sheep or your goats from you?" Of course. But her, at the back of her mind is that if she can buy or purchase of this livestock and she can help them to sell, they will earn some amount of money, you know. And money here over here doesn't mean fiat money, you know. It's exchange of value. You know, remember that this is what a blockchain and this is what NFT provide as well, you know, because anything that happening on blockchain, or probably my apology, I've forgotten to mention that it transact in cryptocurrency. It doesn't transact in US dollar. It doesn't transact in ringgit. Yeah. So assuming if you have any digital piece of product on a marketplace, the value will be equivalent to USD. Yes, but then depends on whichever network. So network is like your Cellcom, DG, or whatever. So we run on BNB and Tezos. BNB is one of the known digital currency or cryptocurrency in the world. So as of today, the market a bit down. One BNB is equivalent to 400 something US dollar. Yeah. So anyway, back to the story. So she got this idea that if she can help the villager to sell their livestock, you know, she can help to fund um, a well for them. And how do they do that? They will have this solar panel. They will start to install a solar panel. Again, they don't have money to even do this. So she established a marketplace, again, exchange of value, whereby she found people in other part of Pakistan who would like to purchase a livestock from this group of people. You know, she managed to arrange a logistic. So she created a new marketplace. So how the funny part is, the most interesting part is that for me is that who would have thought that the sheep, the goats, will be NFT? You know, every livestock, because for example, you have you have a few, you have 10 sheep, you have another 10 sheep. How do I know that whenever I sold or transacted happened, it was your sheep or your sheep? You know, so they, of course, in a commercial farming, they have tagging. This is, again, remember, this is a rural, remote area. So what they did was simple. They literally go to every farmers who owns their livestock, how they're tagging is that they create a digital ID for every goods. First, of course, the sex, male or female, and then based on their teeth, the tooth, the color, and so on, everything. So automatically, every ships has a digital ID, has NFT. So they put on a platform, and she managed to do that, and she managed to sell the ships, and in return she got the money that she needed to buy the solar panel, and she started to install the solar panel. And when they have the solar panel, they can have the water, the irrigation and stuff. You guys can Google this. They call it good for water or water for good later, if you guys have time. So this is another example of story, how far above and beyond this technology can be utilized. If we were thinking that it is only for a cool thing or modern thing, no, I just share with you, this is something so beneficial that you can use for a very, very rural place that they don't even have internet to begin with. They don't know water, no electricity, and so on. And if you know how to utilize this technology, there's so many things you can do. If you guys also following the news, recently Malaysia just launched a platform called IEO platform, where they tokenize most of the companies. It's like when you want to go to IPO, you raise a capital. This is IEO, So these are part of what we are talking today, part of a blockchain, what the industry have provided, and what the technology has provided for you guys, and what NFT has given us an opportunity. So I guess I've spoke quite lengthy, and I've given, I think, I reckon, a sufficient example, a real life scenario for the audience to relate, and I would like to stop here, and please do not be shy to ask me any question. And then, because normally whatever engagement that I have like this, the questionnaire is longer than the talks itself. All right, thank you so much. I hope it doesn't make you guys sleepy. I'm sorry.
Okay, do we have any question on the floor? Or in the Facebook live, do we have any questions?
Oh, yes, please, sir.
In your talk, you mentioned many times the central theme, that is digitization.
Yes.
When you take an artwork like what you see here, when you digitize this, you're reducing the story behind this artwork. Sort of like you are giving a representation, a reduced representation. How do you retain that value of that physical piece in the digitized form?
Okay.
So that, whenever you have a transaction, you are basically, giving the true value for the artwork.
Thank you for the question. Thank you. This is a wonderful question. Okay, end of the day, first thing first, we need to know who is the creator of the art. For example, if I assume you are someone with full of credential, you are a reputable artist, you are a reputable digital creator, or even you are a reputable fine artist. If you were to create something, there are two options. One, like your question, is that from physical item you convert to digital. I have no doubt, highly likely, it will reduce the value of the physical item. But then, if one of the caveat is that if whoever that purchased that digital item will also get the physical item, I think that there's no problem in terms of preserving the value of the specific art. But then your question is, what if only the specific digital item? Depends again, who is the creator. So for example, I give you, I'm sure that if you guys, I'm not a fine art person, but whoever that are into this, you guys know this famous two auction house. One is Sotheby's, one is Christie. They transacted billions worth of digital NFT product for the past years, you know, and they managed to do this. And why it still have value or carry value? Because they are Sotheby and because they are Christie. So I believe fundamentally, to answer your question, and how do we preserve or give value to whatever digital things that we have created and make it NFT is, I think, number one, who are the creator is still very much relevant. You know, it needs to be someone with a credential to carry the value. You know, it can be me, but then if I were to produce something compared to you, you're a person who full of credential in this. I mean, no doubt people would still carry that value. I hope I answer your question. Any more questions?
Any other questions?
Yes. Right.
It's physical, and then I want to convert it into digital platform. So I just have maybe a 3D model of it.
Okay.
Okay, I make it turn it into NFT, for example. So the owner. So let's say okay.
So you are the creator.
I'm the creator,
Okay,
right?
all right.
And let's say this glass is not mine. Let's say just put it another way. So this glass is not mine.
All right.
Okay.
But you digitalize it and you
digitalize
convert it, you make it NFT, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So in terms of the ownership, so how do we deal with that?
There's two things. One is creator, one is the person who owns it. Normally creator who will have the control of royalty, blah, 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 and so on.
Yeah.
But based on your question, I would like to assume that that creator took someone else's creation, right?
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
You're right.
So we have this kind of incident actually with a local animation, a lot of local animation, because if you guys don't know yet, we have a quite reputable local animation house in Malaysia. When this happened, like for us in Pentas, we have a small checkered flag that you can click there to automatically report this. Of course, when you report this, you cannot just say that, oh, this gentleman of this person stole my artwork. Of course, you have to provide a proof that the artwork is belong to you, so such as cash and stuff. So I give you example. We have one example back then. If any one of you guys know Kluang Man, as a local animator, of course, obviously, a few creators be trying to act smart and creative. That of course they take this Kluang Man animation and they created as if it was theirs, you know. And of course, we have complaints by the rightful owner. So they email us and they show us the proof that it was theirs, and so we took it off, you know. So this happens often, especially in not just Pentas but almost all marketplace. So this is another thing that, thank you for the question. This is another thing that we also always have to be aware of whenever you want to collect something. Always do homework. Who is the creator? You know, of course, nowadays people like to hide behind pseudo name and stuff like that. Not anonymity, but pseudo anonymity. You know, so it's very important for you to know the track record and stuff like that. You know, because this is easily can be an abuse of a talent or artwork or even a copyright. So we have a mechanism to tackle this, and I'm sure that other platform, any platform of NFT marketplace will have this mechanism to counter this, because otherwise you became another what do you call that? Another night market place, you know, where you sell all this counterfeit stuff, you know. So you don't want to position yourself in that position. I hope that answers your question. Any more question from the floor? Yes, doctor.
Assalamualaikum Zarif. Thank you so much for your presentation.
You're most welcome.
The question is simple. What are the main legal issues with NFT? Because you are a lawyer,
okay.
and that's why I'm asking.
Because next is you, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to give one is our domestic context, and another viewpoint is global context. maybe I miss this part where I should have mentioned earlier during my presentation that when it comes to NFT marketplace, please um, remove the idea that we are selling within our borders, whatever that you are selling. So the best analogy, if you are selling nasi lemak, you're not only selling in Petaling Jaya. So you're selling in Singapore, probably you're selling in Hong Kong. Of course, this is not nasi lemak, this is digital piece because the world is your market. So when it comes to NFT legality that governing this area or this industry, very much a gray area. But however, we have a few precedent case recites by our judges down south in Singapore that to actually endorse the ownership of or legality of NFT, Dr. Ashad, and it has been used as a again because since it's a precedent case, so it has been used by a lot other following cases. In terms of in Malaysia, for example, right now, it's still a gray area. There's no proper legal and clear framework. However, bear in mind, in Malaysia, anything that is digital asset is deemed as security. However, if you go to Indonesia, any digital asset is deemed as commodity. So governing bodies or authority that approach or supervise the industry is different. Like Tamarind is different, you know. And also this question of either is a security or commodity is still ongoing until today, especially in America, whereby there's so many legal tussle is ongoing right now. And if you guys are familiar with cryptocurrency, I'm sure that you guys know this one of the cryptocurrency called XRP. They has been sued by American government, and they have counted sued American government authority, and they won a few cases. So, and recently there's a new judgment saying that suddenly they are not security. And then following up, they're saying that another cryptocurrency, which is second biggest after Bitcoin, is called Ethereum, is also not a security. So this ongoing, I would say, legal tussle is also a problem for us as an industry player because there's no black and white. When there is a black and white, it's always easier for you to operate. But to be fair, when things are new, it takes time to govern, you know. And for us in Malaysia, I would like to give my sincere thanks to SC Security Commission, Bank Negara, because in our area is overlooked by SC Security Commission. Although they don't have anything specific governing NFT, but they have a good framework governing cryptocurrency. I think as of today, we have up to 15 approval cryptocurrency by our Security Commission, and we are moving towards there. But to answer your question, Dr. Ishad, clear legal framework, not yet, but so far we've been operating under that largely based on Security Commission of assuming digital asset is a security. So at some point we are also somehow, I believe, have to abide by whatever the set of rule that has been given to other players. Yep.
Thank you so much. Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
So the question is like that: if I want to something like register something as an NFT, as you said, again the question is, what are the legal issues I should consider? Say for example, copyright issues, property registration. What are the issues I should consider? And as a market player, what are the legal challenges you foresee that you have to face in future?
Okay, moving forward, I believe, I don't know for how long it takes, but I believe the trademark and also copyright will deem redundant because we have NFT. However, I don't know how long that will take, you know, because you have to understand every nation have this body that governing this. And for you to rule out or for you to deem a redundant of agency is not easy. You know, so for me, this has been used as a form of referral, and it has been even tendered as evidence actually, because remember we talked about NFT, it has a timestamp and everything, and it's immutable. So it has been tendered as evidence in court and has been used by judges to make decision when it comes to this. However, in terms of copyright, in terms of governing bodies that still overseeing all these things, for time being is still relevant. But for me, moving forward, I think the transition will happen. It's just that, again, for this to happen, we need to have a clear consensus that a certain numbers of countries need to agree to accept this. Now we don't have that, Doctor. This is, I think, if you are asking the challenges, I believe this is the main challenges. But then I think it's not difficult to overcome. You know, what is more difficult is to have a consensus among countries to accept a basic, a simple or similar rules.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right, you're most
No
welcome.
Mr. Mohammed, there is a question from Facebook users by the name Harry Bota. He or she asked, hello speaker, is the use of metadata allowed for personal assets? For example, something like office work? If yes, may I know the process?
Metadata for office work.
I think, yeah.
So basically metadata is just like, again, our IC number. You know, so if I understand correctly, the question is that whether they can use the IC number as
yeah, he's basically saying that are we allowed to use metadata for like personal assets?
personal ID. Yes, you can use as your personal ID. You can, but of course, it needs to be made publicized, because if you guys want to access any Web3 platform or any NFT marketplace, all of us need to have a digital wallet to connect to the to access to the platform. So normally you will have to, the moment you have your digital wallet, you will also have your profile. And when you minted any of your digital asset, you will have your NFT. So all NFT will have this so-called metadata. So metadata or slash, to simplify it, our IC number. It can be used, but it depends on what purpose. Is it for your self-recognition as this is you when you trade, or this is you want to sell or trade your items? It depends. But for you, you can mint, any one of us can mint something to make it NFT. Like for example, logo. So this logo represent us, and every of the logo, whatever, how many logos that we minted have metadata. So I'm not quite understand the question, but assuming the question is like that, yes, you can use, but very limited, as in maybe to introduce this is you. But after that, I'm not sure whether in terms of to be used, how to be used. But to show that this is your work, this is your creation, that yes, to identify this is belonging to a certain creators. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you.
I just need to take the opportunity since you are the platform provider.
Okay.
So, I'm just wondering the very basic question about the cost of maintenance. For example, if we have our physical collection like this, or we have paintings, for example, we need to maintain it, right? So if we have it in this digital format, NFT format, for example, so I just wonder, is there any cost that will involve, for example, to ensure that or to maintain our asset in your platform, for example?
Okay,
Yeah.
this is actually not costly at all. I think the cost that might involve is every time you wanted to convert. Remember the process of anything that is digital, you want to convert it to become NFT. That is a small cost called gas fee. It's like a transaction fee that is not paid to us anyway. You're paying to the network provider. So who are network provider? Like just now, I give you example, Celcom, DG, or what. Of course, this is a blockchain, so we use BNB. So you're paying to the BNB, but just a small fraction of amount of money that I believe is not even gonna hurt you guys at all. And assuming if you guys decide, oh, let's set up our own like a platform, for example, like want to have your own platform. There's two options. One is gallery. If virtual gallery, you can just go to Pentas anytime. You create your account. You can upload all these things at no cost, at just a minimal or minting cost, and that's it. But then assuming if you want to have your own NFT marketplace, that might cost you a little bit more because there are so many other things that you have to factor in. But if you just want to go to any marketplace, or you go to Pentas, you want to create your account, which is specifically University Malaya Gallery, for example, it's cheap. It's not even gonna be a problem to you guys. Yeah.
Okay. We have few minutes more.
Yeah, sure.
And
Any more
I have a
question from the
question
Facebook?
from me myself.
Okay.
So I want to ask, from what I understand, in order for this, for us to embrace or utilize this technology, NFT, we'll have to need, we'll have to have believers in the technology.
Yep.
Like if we were going to make a virtual gallery exhibition, for instance, where we present the digital virtualized paintings or
gallery
display of
yeah.
artists, right? So each of these, in order for us to purchase it, it will need to have a digital ownership, right?
Yep.
A digital ID. So from what I'm wondering, how do, in terms of coverage, because it seems like we lack believers in this phenomenon, or in philosophical term, black swan. It still has not become a black swan event yet, right?
Yeah.
Like COVID, for instance, it produces new paradigm in our outlook, right? So this, from your perspective or from your view, how do we, what is the projection, and how is the likelihood, right, for this to become like a part and parcel of our life in terms of commercial activities?
All right.
That's basically, it's very general.
Thank you for the question. Back to the example that I was giving earlier. First thing first, we need to have, because when we talk about community, human behavior, largely, it depends on, unfortunately, large amount of our community are like sheep mentality, like you would need to have some anchor or specific individual or influencer to do something for them to act on. We are more reactive than active, largely speaking. So when you have, like in the West, when you have a person like Snoop Dogg, you have a person like Paris Hilton, you have a person like Donald Trump himself getting involved in NFT, it does give a good exposure at some point. But however, a good thing about now compared to 2021, in 2021, a lot of people are more vibrant, are more this behavior they call, YOLO, you only live once, they just try everything, they don't mind, because again, we have to understand at that point of time, the world under a lockdown, so these things change human behavior, how they see things, they react. And compared to now, I always tell people, I prefer now, although the market or the acceptance is not as widely as a few years ago, but today, whoever that is going to embrace NFT, they are more prudent and sound. They mean the knowledge are better than compared to those in 2021 or 2022, or, you know. So in terms to answer your question, how long does this will take for this to be a normalized thing, like everybody are using email, you know, everybody are using WhatsApp, for example, you know. I think it will take a lot of time, because when it comes to Web3, it gives something that is never been given when we are in Web2. Web2 is like the Facebook, Instagram. Web3 is like you empower the user. And when you empower the user, you empower creative content. And every one of us work in silo, but it's not really seen, in the sense that, because in order for you to be part of this Web3, remember I told you that every one of us need to have our own digital wallet, you know. So this is another, like, I would say, hurdle. How many of us know what is digital wallet today, you know? You might be thinking your touch and go or whatever, but it's not that, you know. So for me, it will take times, because the entry barrier, to put it a simple way, entry barrier is higher compare how Web2 does. You know, for all of us to use and access Facebook and Instagram is a lot easier compared for us today to access anything that is related to Web3, you know. So first, oh, I need to create wallet. So what is wallet? Digital wallet. After I created the wallet, oh, I need to connect to the Web3 platform. Okay. And then now I want to interact. Oh, I need to have a digital currency. Where do I buy digital currency? How do I buy the digital currency? You see, all these steps, you know, I didn't talk about this earlier, because if I were to talk about this, it's so boring, you know. But then these are the prevailing issues to answer your question, why I believe it wouldn't be as fast. But then when it happens, the users will be more informed, more prudent, because in order for you to be there, you see the steps that you have taken, you know, there's so many steps that you have need to do first, and you need to have knowledge and applied knowledge. A lot of us, we have a certain knowledge, but we don't apply, so it's two different things. And whoever that involved in Web3 moving forward, this digital creation, content economy, specifically NFT, you need to have knowledge and applied knowledge, you know. So for me, it is okay to compromise in the sense of the entry barrier is a bit difficult compared to how we use Facebook or how we use Instagram. But eventually, we will have a more prudent user. So it will take time, you know, it will take time, many, many years, maybe 10 years, I don't know. But then sometimes you remember about economy things, you know, supply and demand. Sometimes when the supply is not so much and the demand is high, so which is also a good thing sometimes. So I'm hoping that for me as an industry player, of course, I want things to move as fast as I can, as fast as it can, you know, because it will benefit us as industry player. But then for it to be sustainable, you know, we want things to be sustainable. So when we want things to be sustainable, it needs to have that organic phase of development, you know. So I hope I answer your question.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed, for the invaluable insights and experiences shared. Ladies and gentlemen, give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you for not falling asleep.
Next up, thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Next up, we will be having Associate Professor Dr. Roslina Ismail for our next topic. Dipersilakan ke hadapan. Allow me to read some of our speakers' distinguished profile. Associate Professor Dr. Roslina, also known as Dr. Lin, is an Associate Professor at the Faculty of Creative Arts, University Malaya. She received her Bachelor in Science in Chemistry from the Victoria University of Manchester, completed her Master of Engineering Science and PhD in Engineering at University Malaya. Thereafter, she delved into art as an academic profession and completed her Master in Fine Art at UiTM in 2017. Dr. Lin is currently a distinguished associate professor with a comprehensive academic background and dynamic involvement in research and educational program. She is also excelled in leadership roles. Recently, she had been the Deputy Dean, Research Value Creation and Enterprise at the Faculty of Creative Arts, spearheading interdisciplinary research, leading innovation efforts, and driving research commercialization. She published extensively in index journals and presented at numerous conferences on both fields, visual culture and art, as well as nanotechnology. Having said that, Dr. Lin, please take it away.
Thank you. Okay, that's a mouthful, right? Okay, that's how I am, the one in between, the Venn diagram, right? The hybrid. So a lot of people can't, distinguish which part I am, because at the end of this month, I'll be presenting in Ho Chi Minh my nanotechnology research. So, yeah, I guess it's just part of the interdisciplinary nature of who I am, that I've been always questioning from one part to one part, where I don't see any demarcation or scolarization of discipline, where everything is hybrid, which is actually bring me back to the interest of NFTs, and also how we're moving forward towards cryptocurrencies, towards this AR, VR, and AI generated. So people are questioning what art now, again and again and again. And it's not something that we have, can I have my slide? So, yeah, can I have my slide? Sorry, Umar. Sorry, I sent the latest one slide. Okay. Yeah, I did actually prepare slide, so that I hope does not intimidate Encik Muhammad so much, because he saw I was like doing my slide. But I'm a lecturer, you know, we do slides all the time. You know, it's like we sleep with slides and we talk with slides. So I think that should be yeah. Do I need to edit here? Okay, thank you. yang S type C. Tak ada. Nah, I boleh pusing sini. Yeah, no problem. It's fine. Okay, I'm good now. All right, so that's me, a mouthful, and also always curious about things, and many things that I'm curious about, and I like to write about it. So hence the publication. So, but that's my bread and butter here as academic, right? I guess. So yeah, welcome to our discussion. So when Mr. Umar contacted me, he said, "Doctor, can you talk about NFT?" I said, "NFT and valuation of art." Subjective and objective. So I said, I was thinking like, wow, okay, what does he wants me to say? Because as a layman, right, we've been reading, following NFT, and we know that the hype is died down, right? So that makes me do more research on it. Like, so I became like Alice in Wonderland, tumbling down this rabbit hole that actually I keep on digging and digging and digging. I can't help it. So let's talk about in your mind first. Just in your mind first. Just think of a painting or any artwork that that you like or that you have met view in a museum or in something that you like that you see in the art gallery if you've been. Just keep that in mind because we're going to go through a huge spectrum of knowledge where I will go into towards art history, and then I'm taking out the philosophy part of aesthetic and axiology because I think you guys gonna just fall asleep. But what's important is to understand what it means by beauty because that's where the value comes in. Because I was asked to task to say, how do you value art? Right? I think layman would be seeing Roscoe for 11 million or, you know, same thing. How do you value NFT? Do you use the traditional valuation like what we have now that we've done before? Is it that we come to an era of knowledge that things has just unraveled and we're starting again? Which is what Mr. Muhammad says when he said that this is new. So of course there will be a lot of new things coming, new ideas that people might accept, and there will be people who are jumping on board without really knowing the understanding the contextualization of this change of knowledge. But there are also people who stand behind and just look, and there are also people who are hating it, like, you know, criticizing it without understanding. So I see this after reading a lot. I'm not an expert in it, but I would share what I found, that this is a very interesting case study. Case study in terms that how art has been from the traditional, and then we have, if you look at art history, then you have the Renaissance man and everything, and then you have photography coming up, right? Photography, and then people still questioning, painting is dead, right? Still again at that existentialist crisis, that existentialist question about what is art. And then you have digital art. When it started in 1970s, digital art is about artists or people who actually write the code, who actually write the algorithm, and that algorithm is their work of art. But now you are using software, right? So does this software is a tool? So where does your creativity, your creation comes about, right? Then we go into how art is being contextualized. Then this is where the subjective valuation of art comes in, right? So you see how it works. So art has two ways for you to value. One is the objective, one is the subjective. What is the objective valuation? Okay, a lot of us been taught in school about objective valuation, color, variation, texture, all the element of art and principle of art. But what about the subjective evaluation? So I hope here today I will be able to talk to you slowly, because I did ask Encik Umar, are there any, who are they? Are they public, or they students, or they are art historian, or those are in the culture research? So if it's culture research, we can copy after this, right? We can hantam after this, but I'm doing this for the public at this moment in time, right? Because I want to scare you guys. Right, so what is, it's a process to determine the worth, right? So when people say, like, how come people sell for 69 million? What's the worth of people? So we're going to have a look, a little bit of it, okay? So basically, we're going to go through what it means by traditional art pieces. Of course, you know, everyone knows Mona Lisa, right? So you know that Leonardo only have less than 20 paintings, and those paintings are mostly commissioned, because the rich or aristocrat love to keep the artist in their house, right? They give a nice place, and then I'll give you food, and I commission you to do portrait of my family. But he has more than 2,500 sketches, drawings of engineering invention. Okay, so this is where it becomes enigmatic. This is where Leonardo becomes really enigmatic, because the mysteriousness and the ambiguity of his own personality as an artist, right? Because he has this habit of not finishing his work. 20 works, and most, 2 of them are not finished. Battle of Algeria and Leda, it's not finished. The rest are, you know, those are commissioned. As you can see, a lot of portraits, right? So, but then he go crazy with all this invention. He go crazy with all these engineering drawings. Oh, I think deep down inside, he just want to fly. Okay, but we never know. It's not here. We can't ask. So, as an art history or people who are studying him, we can actually suppose, based on the evidence that we have, who he is. So that actually created such a mysterious and ambiguity about his work. Look at Mona Lisa. When I was young, before I was into art, I thought Mona Lisa is this big painting, right? Because the story, the grand narrative is huge, it's so powerful. I will imagine as big until you go to the Louvre and it's just so small, right? And then you can't even get close to it. But the story behind it, right? The mystery, the articulation, the provenance behind it is created that it drives up the value of Mona Lisa. And what more, that he only have less than 20 paintings as compared to Pablo Picasso, who has about, he's very prolific, right? That doesn't mean that his work is less than Leonardo, but he has about 2,000 work. He keep working, Matisse and all these masters. So this is where you need to understand, when valuation is more about colors, it's more about texture, because art is about the human culture. And art become human, as visually represent who we are as human. So hence, that's where the subjectivity comes in, isn't it? However, we are human, we are so organic. There's no form, because yesterday I had this discussion, heated discussion about culture, where I believe as an academic, culture is organic. It should be left aside. But there are also ways how you want to control culture. How can you say you do this type of Mak Yong and you do that type Mak Yong is right and that is wrong? Just because Mak Yong is not played now doesn't mean it is gone. It is still there, except it's not in the mainstream. It becomes subculture, right? So you need to understand that art has always been part of human, and it's organic and evolved, right? As what Encik Muhammad said, it's new. NFT is new. It is the culture of the digital culture now. And it keeps evolving and become dynamic. Look at Salvatore Dali in Persistent of Time. Look at how surreal is this. What it means by surreal, that it is out of imagination. You can't find this in reality. It's when Dali brings us out of our reality of life into an imagination life. and the time, pieces means symbolically, right? This is one of the painting 101, art 101, when you go and teach student about how painting can be a form of expression that is your imagination. You visualize your imagination. Okay. Of course, we have in our homegrown Latif Mohidin, which I think one of the most expensive, sold at 1 million plus. At Leon and Turnbull, there was also a story behind it, so that's why it became that. It's also Abdul Latif Mohidin, based from his Pago Pago series, that he went through, he traveled around Europe, and he came back, and then he changes his style, right? So that's a turning point of an artist's style or artist creation or practice. And Ibrahim Hussein, we have one, I think, Prof kat sini, but not this one. So this is 918,000. It's at the, it's called Kalama Desert. Also after Ibrahim Hussein went for his artist retreat. So that's why as artists we need to like have our retreat. Prof, nanti present artis boleh pergi retreat, because then we come up with different things, right? Because we are able to look at the world, because that's how we absorb, right? We absorb and we give it back. So now how do you look at art methods of art evaluation? So we're looking at traditional art, painting lah, sculpture lah, yeah. So first, provenance. Second, the condition or rarity. Okay. Salvador Mundi, 450 million, is the lost painting of Leonardo. That's what they say. There was also a film about it in 2021. It was bought by a proxy, but then now we know it's owned by the king, the Prince Mohammed bin Salman. It's at Abu Dhabi Louvre, right? The condition is very bad. They were tattering at the bottom, but still the mysteriousness of this, the story that was created around this painting, saying that some say that it is fake because it's not. They are like at one point in Salvador Mundi that Jesus were holding this orb. And that orb was not Leonardo style, something like that. So they are really, so Muhammad Salman, he doesn't care about it because he has so much money, and due to that, it has increased. Because you need to create that story. I don't know if you can say hype, right? Hype seems to have a negative connotation, but hype helps. It definitely helps, and it plays by the auction houses, by people who are selling, by collectors. You need to create an ecosystem for that painting to push its value, right? So now it does seem very speculative, isn't it? But it's actually not. Let's say provenance is like, who owns this? Let's say painting from Guggenheim, right? Guggenheim collection. This actual painting, Red Tower by Giorgio Di Chirico, owned by Peggy Guggenheim. So there was some drama there going on. They sue, the family sue the Guggenheim Foundation, saying that it was not presented well and things like that. So it's not for sale. It's at Guggenheim Museum. But if it's for sale, it will be racked up so high, because who doesn't know Guggenheim? Okay, so this is what it meant by provenance. So when this is where I see the NFT, the digital, your ownership, that digital certification. So it's something like this. It's similar. So what about the conditions? So I talked about Mandi just now. Salvatore Mandi is 400 million. Critics has spotted an unusual flaw. So I can share this. You can go into Business Insider and then look at what was written about it. Okay. So it's just dramatic. It's so dramatic. They even made a film out of it in 2021. So yeah, it's the most expensive, most expensive. How do I? This okay. Okay. Most expensive Leonardo's work, and it's not even confirmed whether it's Leonardo's or it's fake. But who cares? I got billions, you know. I want that 450 millions because the world is talking about it. And you've never seen, after that auction, in 2021, no one see that anymore. It's not, but I think it was bought by Abu Dhabi Louvre, and just lately we knew that it was in the hand of Prince Salman. But I guess it's in some collection room that we won't see the day of it. I don't know. So the other one is to look at the artistic merit and also historical significance. I think I've already talked about Salvatore Mundi, I talked about Leonardo, I talked about Dali, right? Merit meaning that, let's say for Edward Munch, the Scream. What does the Scream mean? It's like it's one of those first painting that actually represents psychoanalysis, because Munch is very into Freud. So he looked at, for every part of it, it shows his own depression and anxiety. So this painting become the memes or become the poster boy for everyone going through anxiety, right? Because you could feel through the colors, you could feel through the stroke and the texture, right? How convoluted the feeling is, right? So so you could see this Munch also has come up with how where if we want different movement, which is called psychoanalysis, or he's a expressionist, where you bring in different discipline into art. Okay, so here we go into subjective valuation of art in art. Now we are going into subjective meaning, art as a form of communication, reflecting human emotion, communicating societal issues, facilitating global dialogue, everything and anything that can be seen as art as a representation of the society. Okay, because we globalize, we interact with other people. How does that? We communicate societal issue. We reflect human emotion, like in Edward Munch and also Dali. Art as a form of communication, right? We use art as to communicate ideas, to communicate something that cannot be written. So here we have work by Frida Kahlo, the two Fridas. So two Fridas look at the heart, it's empty. And why is a duality of self? Because Frida Kahlo just had her divorce, right? So she presented herself as two person, but with both the heart is empty. So you see how it can, just one painting can have so many interpretation that can be communicated, the experiences or emotion that you're not able to use verbally, right? So same thing with Pablo Picasso, Guernica. This is his work that actually talk about World War II. This is in Spain, right? During Spain was part of World War II, and you could see, definitely you see the cow, you know, the matador. So we can do a very detailed analysis. So this can be another class for us, but I just go really fast. So and street art, street artist Banksy, you know that he paint this on the walls. And there was once that he painted on a canvas. It was auction, and then something happened that he uses a shredder. They thought it's him because nobody know who Banksy is. Nobody know who Banksy is. There's a story about Banksy film, but nobody know who he is. He might be a collective of artists, because he's everywhere. He's on the Palestinian wall. right? His art was on the separation wall in Palestine. His art is in UK, in US, anywhere which is on the wall. So that's one story that this Banksy came to this house and paint on the outside wall. And then he actually, demolish the house, and he used the wall as a artwork. Then he sold it, a lot of money, right? So Banksy here, if you look, the girls with the balloon, it's so poignant, isn't it? And it's so relevant until now. So this is where you could see the subjectivity of art, how it speaks to you, how it speaks to human, how it speaks about the societal issue of our society now. Art can also bridge differences. Places like Biennale, you will gather exhibition, you will gather artists from different part of the world. Kassel, Documenta. So to talk about global issues, because they always have their themes. So here, this is how art can be seen as subjective. They can say, oh, buy my painting. It was in Venice Biennale. It was written by this. I had Frida Kahlo was going through divorce. It's something very personal, and some people would be able to relate to it. Okay. So looking at, then we go into the objective valuation of art. This is easier because it's objective, you can measure. This is where the auction house will look at it. Importance of art market. But the other subjective will be the story about it. The mystery about it that make people want to keep bidding and bidding and bidding, right? This would be your entry level to go into some auction houses or to be able to put on the wall of an exhibition, right? So how do you look at this? Definition, the key elements: color, form, texture, importance of art market. Why did I use Monet? Because Monet is an impressionism, right? This is as a response to the realism of Paris school, right? So what Monet did was that he uses colors, this is about color theory, and it has been experimented on and talked about from the scientific point of view of optical science. Because Monet used, like, it started with pointillism. Remember pointillism? I see that as pixelated. You know, you use like point, different colors, and then it formed an image. Because our eyes is trained to make image. If you look at the clouds, you can see, oh, that's a dog. That's a house. Our eyes are trained that way. Retina, if you study about the eyes component, that we are trained to, the retina are able to create image from light. So Monet used light. Okay. He used light and he used the color theory, putting complementary color, green and blue, green and green, green and red, together side by side. Because when you blend the green and red, it becomes dim. But then if you put green and red side by side, the blending will be at your retina. So how did Monet know about this? Because he was inspired by a book on the, wait, I've written it somewhere. On the law of simultaneous contrast, was written in 1839 by Chevreul, a chemist and a head of dye work. So artists used this book and were inspired by how this color theory comes in. Complementary colors, analogous color, harmony color. So Monet used this idea or concept from science and experimented on his work, on the canvas. Remember, we always blend the color on the palette, right? But he did not blend the color, he just put the color together, let the eye blend it. How interesting is that? So that's why Monet is very expensive too. So this is where you can look at color and look at that objectively. You can measure it, right? The next is form. So looking at unique form of continuity in space by Umberto Bocchini, you could look at different site. For every part of, if you go into YouTube, you can click, for every side of this sculpture, it has totally different form. Okay, so you need to be able to look at it from that. So the iconic of this futurism sculpture breaks away from the traditional representation that embody movement and fluidity in solid form. What it means is that before this, sculpture are realist. But however, it has been abstracted that it gives the form of human. Although it does not look like human, isn't it? It gives a form of movement, fluidity. How do you see fluidity? Look at the end here, right? That part. At his feet, it's like moving. It's like water. It shows that that form is in motion. And how do you give motion and dynamism on something which is static as such? So this is how artists uses their practice and skill to look into the elements of art. And this is something that you can actually measure how good it is. Oh, look at the form, the colors is so good. The colors is amazing. Look at the palette. Look at Rembrandt's palette. Rembrandt's the Vermeer using contrasting chiaroscuro, contrasting light and shadow. These are all the things that you can actually identify or value in a painting or in an artwork. Same thing with Picasso, same thing with Van Gogh, Starry Night. In fact, Starry Night is still written about, they still wrote about Starry Night saying that it's actually the universe. But remember, Van Gogh were in asylum when he did this. Yeah, he was in an asylum when he painted this, because that is the view from his cell window. Okay, so you could see the movement, the texture. Look at that, the texture. It was like little stroke, the gesture of this. So these are the objective valuation. So I think, I hope you understand a bit on the subjective and objective. This is like a whole semester punya research, but I'm trying to cram everything. So, and then the last one is the importance of art market. All right, this is what you guys want to know more. So what is art market is how does this market dynamic, art work is a commodity. People invest in it. And people create hype. People create mysteriousness to get that subjectivity of values. And you, of course, you will have the skilled people to look at the objective of values. And from that, you start bidding. Why don't they just sell it? You know, why do you bid it? Because it will keep going up and up as the narrative, as the contextualization of art become more significant, more relevant to people. I sold some paintings, and then when I asked this collector who keep chasing my painting, you know, I make like one painting maybe a year because too much work at Prof. Maybe you can, right, give artists some space to make. And then whenever I put it on the wall, before that I will text to him and say I want it. So even before it's on the wall, it's sold. I asked him, why do you liked it so much? I just liked it. It speaks to me. Because there is a scientific evidence how work, color speaks to you, how form speaks to you, how texture speaks to you. So I guess whatever I'm doing speaks to this person, right? So that's why So I kind of create my own subjective value there. So, so here we could look at how auction houses, art market works. You know, Madoc's Contemporary Art Investment Guide, you can actually, it's an apps, you can go into it, you can look at the market trends, what are the current market trends going. Mostly, you have Yayoi Kusuma working with Louis Vuitton, right? And then you have Andy Warhol on the other side, that one, popular culture. You have the street art, and these are at the current moment, you know, the trending according to Maddox. Okay, so do you see objective value there? Do you see subjective value there? How do you write? Which one speaks to you? Okay, then we go into digital art and NFTs. So I won't talk about NFT because Encik Muhammad has covered everything that I need to say about NFT. So maybe we just go and look at NFT as a case study. Okay, I'm a researcher. I can't help but look at it from a different point of view, right? I'm also a visual culture researcher. And in the business of arts and humanities, in arts and humanities, we always question why. Why such thing happen? Why this fever pitch of NFT? Why this boom? Why this sudden slump? What is going to happen? Why? So I'm going to do that. So I won't, you know, as you say, what NFT did is that it's revolutionizing art ownership and valuation. But then if you look at the traditional valuation, it's pretty similar, isn't it? Except it's in a digital form. You have digital scarcity. You have artist reputation. And also you have the provenance. But this provenance, last time provenance was like who owns it, you know, gallery, museum, collectors, right? But then this is at different blockchain, the provenance. It comes from different blockchain. So each NFT will have a record of ownership and how it is transaction. So provenance is the history. Let's say the life story of that painting, of that artwork, right? So where it was made, who made it, who bought it, where it was. So it's like a whole section, a whole chronology of the life story of that painting. Same thing with NFT, but then it's through blockchain. So what about the digital scarcity? This is where Encik Muhammad mentioned about certain fashion houses create NFT to create that scarcity so that whatever product that they have is a specific few. Although you were saying that NFT democratize art, being capitalism, we cannot help but to create demand. So what do? You create scarcity. You don't put like 1,000 NFT of the same thing, maybe just 3. So you would have like a bragging right to say, I have one of the 3 only NFT by Louis Vuitton, or by this fashion house, or by this artist. Isn't that scarcity? It's just classic business. Because importance of art market, remember? Go back to the valuation. In the end, it goes there. But then in order for this art market to create values, it has all these criteria. You can't just create something, right? Which we're going to have a look at after this. So artist reputation, who are they? Banksy, you know, even Andy Warhol goes into NFT. During one time, a lot of our established contemporary artists go into NFT. So they don't have to go through the difficult part of creating their own hype because they already have it. And also, for example, every day the first 5,000 days by people, collage of 5,000 daily images, that sold at 69 million. Tell me which part of valuation, objectively and subjectively, that you can see this as 69 million. How is that? Hmm? Sorry? Maybe, yes. That would be Dr. Ishat's job. I don't want to go into that. We will ask him about AMLA after this. Okay, then we have CryptoPunk. Okay, description, one of the earliest NFT. CryptoPunks are pixel art characters that have fetched millions in the digital art. My lava lamp. And one of the first NFT, McCoy, right? Quantum. It's actually moving. You can actually click and then you could see the image moving in and out, in and out. Something like hypnotizing if you kind of look. And it's one of his first, that digital, that octagon. So where do you see this? As I compared you to Leonardo, Monet, Dali, Mandi even, and I have this, and this is 69 million, and even my painting, you know, it's only like tak sampai puluh ribu pun, you know. Where we be asking, like, where's the value of these NFTs, right? So let's have a look. And then we also have our own street artists, as you mentioned. The street artists jump into the NFT, maybe out of curiosity, out of necessity, okay, to re-evolve, to evolve themselves as an artist. Malaysian street illustrator, so sold at OpenSeas, right? You can also look at it. But what happened is that in 2021, the report of NFT spiked 21,000%. How is that even possible? You don't even know what 21,000% increase to more than 17 billion, reports say. But what's the hype? Just a few years ago, in 2021, now it's 2024, 3 years. Captured that global attention. You even have the Bored Ape there in New York, right? Peaking at 2020 with a trading of more than 17 billion. So who's hyping this? Who's creating this narrative around this NFT? Well, media frenzy, celebrity endorsement, impact of market dynamic, and speculative trading, right? So there is this thing when in 2021, COVID, everyone will lock down. Everyone has FOMO, fear of missing out. They want to have a sense of belonging. They created their own community. And some people just have the money and they don't know where to use the money, so they start speculating and creating and start buying, right? Just for the fun of it, so that they can flip later. Okay, I know a little bit lah the word. Jangan marah I, Cik Muhammad. So the extensive media coverage, endorsement by Snoop Dogg, Grimes, you know Grimes was Elon Musk's wife, I don't know. And also Paris Hilton amplified the interest in NFT because people were at home. They were online, they were catching up from the world every time, from the social media, from website, from Facebook. Every little thing that happen around the world make them feel connected. Can you imagine? It's a total lockdown. You are alone in the house. You cannot go out. You miss your family. You miss your girlfriend maybe in the building beside, and you can't even go and see her, right? It's crazy, right? So people start to create this psychological and social behavior, which I'm going to make an argument after that. So the surge of NFT popularity coincide with the significant also the cryptocurrency space. So it's just like a good perfect storm. Cryptocurrency, then crypto, I said, I have this currency, I need something to sell. Okay, create this NFT, create a token. That's why they call it a token that can be traded online. So this Bitcoin reaching new highs and the rise of Ethereum mining. The period saw mainstream artists, as I mentioned just now, Warhol even jumped, Kasuma, and even meme coins contributing to NFT craze, making this digital asset more accessible to ordinary citizens. So this is where the idea of democratizing of art happened. So you democratize it, everyone jump on board, then you create scarcity. Capitalism. That's it. Smart kan? I wonder who started this. Well, so, but of course there are market saturation and decline. So this is right after COVID. Everybody start jumping out and start running out from the house. So this guy said, time to make money the old-fashioned way, through hard work, LMAR, #pain, right? So what it means that the market soon became oversaturated and countless of new NFT flooded the scene. Everybody jumping in. I put my work as NFT also, but I lost money. And I've already forgotten my OpenSea account. You know, there's a 12 thing. So I got money there that, you know, something. So it's like, okay, I'm one of those that losing money, so I'm not very kind to it at this moment in time. But it became increasingly difficult to discern what is valuable investment, which one is a good NFT, which one that can sell 69 million. Like everybody opening the MetaMask and OpenSea platform account and just put their phone or their cat's face or everything as NFT. And there are people who buy actually, which, you know, it's like, as a visual culture researcher, it's a very interesting context for me to kupas, you know, to unravel, leading to hasty and sometimes mostly irrational purchasing decision. So this frenzy contributed to the dramatic market collapse just months after it peaks. Just months, 69 million, 17 million, months after that drop, and it caught people, so many people off guard. Seriously, you were a millionaire, you know, you have all your trappings, and then tomorrow it worthless. How is that even possible? It never happened before in this human history. Do you know? Yeah, Rothko sold his painting for 17 million. Yeah, I have 70 million, I'm gonna buy Rothko. But it won't be worthless the next day or few months after that. It might be 15 million, but it won't be like 2 million. But what happened to NFT? What? Why does it happen that way? So what drove this collapse, right? As well as losing their novelty, because as you say, market saturation, so hence you need to create scarcity. So now they are creating scarcity, you see, the permainan. The market was hurt by the large fall of the price of Bitcoin and also other cryptocurrency, as well as the collapse of foreign exchange and publicity given to scams, money laundering. You know, new things will attract new way of conning people, new way of stealing things from other people. Humans are just so creative of doing bad things. So this actually create, remember, valuation of art, the subjective valuation of art is the narrative around that work. So when you have stories about cons, scams, it creates a negative connotation around it. Doesn't mean it doesn't have to be true. And what's worse is that NFT is intangible physically. It is something that you keep somewhere, nobody can see. 3,000 ringgit there, I have 3,000 ringgit somewhere, but I cannot say, I forgot that 12 digits, so I think I just contribute to whatever NFT reason or something. It's like I'm still trying to figure out where my 12 digits of my OpenSea. But the idea is that it's worse for NFT. When people say it's scam, when people say there's no tangible values is highly speculative. And there's no tangible form. I can't hold it. I can't see it, right? That's worse, isn't it? So beyond that, the lifting of COVID, as you can see, lockdown meant people who began trading NFTs, the 2021's boomers, who gets that, and other ways to pass their time. Okay, not my, this is from research. And higher interest rates that from the mid-2022 made most speculative assets seem less attractive, because after COVID, the bank starts to open and they start raising the interest rate. The first thing they do is just raise the interest rate because, ooh, I closed shop already, right? I closed shop, and then for 1 year, I need to recuperate, and let's raise interest rate. So due to that, I think a lot of people just, as I said, as that guy said, time to make proper work, hard work. So why does this reason behind these rapid changes is that initially the uniqueness and digital art association drew immense attention because it's so unique, it's so new to the world, right? But the market become inundated with option. The novelty wear off, leading to decline in demand, compounded by instances of fraud and low quality offerings. Trust in NFT wins. So it's so subjective, isn't it? You can't look at NFT through objective valuation. It's purely subjective. NFT as form of communication, reflection of emotion. Remember, we go back to that. Getting people together, bringing people together. You create your NFT community. You buy each other's NFT to create values. And the trust wear off. So also the impact, as mentioned, many shifted their focus away from something speculative because a lot of people lost a lot of money during COVID, and it's time for them to build their life back. And I see this as a psychological of value. I see this because of the visual culture researcher looked at this from contextualization as psychological of value. Meaning that as we observe the economic recovery post-COVID, a significant shift in investment. You can look through that, which is deeply rooted in the psychology of value and risk. Why? During the pandemic, individuals turned to speculative digital assets like NFT as traditional market were fraught with uncertainty and volatility. Okay? Commodity, market price, stock price just go down. There's no people to work. Gold go down. Gold still there. Gold is always there. And most of other things, real estate, houses, people don't have money to pay installment, investment. People don't have money to invest because they cannot go out to work, right? So NFT offering not just financial investment, but it's also a sense of community. Okay, so this is where it create that story around it. It create that society around it because it makes you feel belong. So the participation and participate, no one, FOMO, fear of missing out, is very, very strong when you are alone, locked down, and you don't know whether you're gonna live or die, and you just lose someone you love, and you can't even visit them. You want to feel belonging. That is human nature. So it seems appealing during the times of isolation and social distancing. How much time I have? Finish already. 10 minutes, okay, I can finish this. So I have this argument, okay? I have this argument that the rise and fall of popularity and market value of NFT can be comprehensively understood from the psychological part of human nature of value and risk, and also from the social context. So how people respond to individual investors under condition of uncertainty, and the social interaction that influence collective perception. We call it hype. The community is hyping this NFT is good. Buy. And who's buying it? The community. And people outside seeing that the NFT keep going, because you're creating that perception that this is a good NFT. Although you see that it's just a cat picture. But why is people chasing it? The perception is so important. So that's why from 17 billion, from 69 million to something sort of worthless. How can something be this high, just drop that high? It's due to that speculative nature of NFT trading. So I see this as a two different way where I can actually look at it as a case study on how to contextualize this boom and this fall. It's like one is to look at it using prospect theory. It's about decision making under duress, under risk taking when you create. So this is Kahneman is called, I can't pronounce, Don Kahneman, a professor in behavioral decision in business. So he studies how people make decision when they want to make business. So if you want to close your deal, you need to create that economy, that situation where people will decide, where you want to decide, then you need to create that condition where people feel that they need to decide what you want. So this is like something like a main game. So loss of aversion, investor fear of losses amplified after initial market dips after COVID, cool the enthusiasm of NFT, leading to a rapid decline in their market activity. Second, using prospect theory, also we look at changing reference point, the initial excitement with high reference point, expecting large gain. Everybody goes in because I want to make money. You know that, oh, that guy just make 2 million from this, so I want to go in. So everybody jump into the bandwagon without knowing what's going on. But this is what you call as, if you look at it from a theoretical framework, it's called as prospect theory, because the prospect of making large gain in such a short time is just too attractive to resist, and to impact the willingness to invest in speculative digital asset. Another part is perceived probability and decision weight. You weigh your decision to buy NFT due to that speculative, that you speculate, or probability that it will go up and up and up. Just like when you invest in markets, right? But then it has a speculative nature, but it also have investment analysis and profile. So it influences investor away from NFT towards a more stable environment. But what I'm most interested is how this social dynamic of this community of NFTs, how they create a community, a perception from their own community. Okay, so construction and reconstruction of values. What are the values that was socially constructed through media narrative, influencer endorsement, Snoop Dogg, Paris Hilton, Martha Stewart. I don't know whether Martha Stewart, if Martha Stewart endorsed, anybody wants to buy. You know, she's so Karen. It's not live, is it? And community discourse, right? Both online and offline, and discuss and how this construction shifted from overwhelmingly positive to suddenly skeptical as the market reality set in. The impact of media and communication, different form of media, news outlet, played a crucial role in shaping public perception, and the identity and social significance. Owning or investing NFT become part of individual or group identities. How changes in the social perception of NFT affected this identity and related to investment behavior. Because, oh, I belong to this NFT group, whatever the group. Okay, I'm not going to say any group, but then it's like a whole identity that they construct from it. I'm an NFT artist, I'm an NFT trader, I'm artist, you buy my NFT, I buy your NFT. And people outside looking at the Ethereum going up, up, and up. Ooh, they must be good NFT. But then there was a speculation going on there. And it's normal, it's happening everywhere. So that community, once you have all these negative perceptions start to crack, and people start to live and do something else, right? So it also related to investment behavior. So this is how I look at symbolic interactionism, how contextualization of symbol and interaction between this human society. So the rise and fall of NFT illustrate a very fascinating interplay of psychology and social dynamic. And social media play on this. They play on your psychology, they play on your social needs to be connected, to be identified in a community. We understand that individual behaviors driven by loss aversion and changing reference point under uncertainty, process theory, how these collective meanings, how people collectively create meaning from one NFT, the Bored Ape, how they create that meaning that influence market dynamics and also investment decision. You never knew, right? By creating meaning, you can push it to 69 million. And this insight that not only on specific case of NFT, but also broader digital market phenomena. So it's not just NFT, but the whole digitization of art, digitization of commodities, where human psychology and social cultural factors intersect. So this is where I see a lot of research and a lot of findings can be found on studying the behavior of people with this intersection of prospect theory and symbolic interactionism. So, what lies ahead for M? I think Encik Muhammad has mentioned a couple of like what lies ahead, what is doing now, but I did some research also. One is that NFT can, because I look at I think Christie and also Maddox's projection of NFT until 2040, 2050 or 2030, I can't remember, that, you know, the graph is like that and then it goes down. It is quite stable. Why? Why is it stabilized? Because of all possible potential steps that is taken to. So when people say NFT is that, it's not actually that, it has cooled off. The hype is gone. People are more realistic what NFT is, but it's not going to go away. But what it is, it will evolve, just like human nature, just like art, just like the dynamic of life. It will evolve, let's say technological integration and innovation, adding in VR, AR, AI generated. It might happen. The King of Leon musical is already, you know, put certain part of it as an NFT. You know, how can you actually like musical as an NFT, but people do it. So the creation, the creativity of human always profound. So transforming them into collectible items, just like you mentioned just now, NFT, you only, if you buy them, you can get the Hermes Birkin, or you can get that Chanel, and that Chanel bag is only 100 in the world, but you need to buy your NFT first. So digital scarcity, creating that scarcity, and where NFT can be transformed instead of just predominantly collective item, but to more functional component, right? So for a digital ecosystem, for example, it can be used to authenticate or manage real world asset through IoTs, and also to provide especially immersive experiences in virtual world. Because part of my research is also art-based intervention through immersive experience. I have my studio, I think just outside here. I'm setting up that place, and then after that, I'm turning it into VR and AR. So the other thing that we can look is that expansion into new market. So what lies ahead is that it can be into identity verification just now. Maybe the question where ID Okay, you can use NFT for source of digital identity management. So that might have some problem with your personal data. Tokenizing properties, right and transaction, real estate, music and entertainment, which is actually capture my intention, capture my attention. How you can manage copyrights, your royalties, and direct fan engagement. The tickets that you sell to certain concerts, right? So these are the things that how NFT is evolving. Rather than become highly speculative, collectible item, it become more functional. Just like art, when you look at modern art is about expressionism, expression of the artist. And then you become postmodern and contemporary, where this contextualization of art, that art become a form of communication, art for society, art become a human expression, art become functional, art become as a bridge towards different culture. This is where I see the same evolution of NFT that goes through the same changes of art movement style. So of course we have regulatory and legal department, market maturation, whether better hardwares or better back end or something on the market, cultural shift, which is what I'm trying to look into, how culture has shifted from an actual tangible art to something which is intangible, and how does value comes about that. Environmental impact consideration. So I think what they have been negative, one part of the negative perception is that mining takes so much energy, right? So a lot of us are thinking that it's not very sustainable to the environment. But of course they have a different type. Bitcoin have the proof of work, and then Ethereum is coming up with proof of stakes, but they have pros and cons. I'm not so sure what it means, but I can read that proof of stake would have some collateral. You need to have your money first there, only you can buy something, right? So then it's lesser in a way energy consumption. So I need to read more about this and talk to the expert. So apart from that, I think that's what I understand from the valuation subject. So where I see that I bring the idea of valuation, subjective and objective evaluation for the traditional art that has similarity, that can be aligned to how we can actually value NFTs. And it's promising, but it's not going to be easy. Challenges that needs addressing, but whether it will become a staple in digital asset and management or remain as a niche market depends on how what lies ahead evolve. Especially when Encik Ahmad mentioned about regulatory. We don't have that yet. Okay. So how long does it gonna take? But it's not going to go down. I can see that the projection, right, just flat like that. So maybe need some form of contextualization or new narratives to make it go up again. So I don't know. So I think that's it. And any question? I like it.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me, please. I'm new. Yeah, okay. Any question that you want to ask?
because due to your technical problem that happened previously, so you given some more
I've
time.
taken up the Q&A, which is fine actually. All right, okay.
Okay, I think that's it. If
Thank
there's
you
no
so
questions,
much, everyone,
thank you so
for
much.
listening.
Thank you, Dr. Lin. It is our pleasure to have you talking about this topic, and also for the criticism and new perspective. Obviously, her specialist involvement in both realms, science and art, equip her with a unique outlook on art that which tempting to some. All right, so for our final session, we kindly invite Associate Professor Dr. Irshad to come up stage. Associate Professor Dr. Irshad will elucidate to us the legal perspective pertaining to NFT and blockchain technology. Let me first introduce Associate Professor Dr. Irshad's background. Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Irshadul Karim attained his Bachelor and Master in Law at the University of Dhaka, Bangladesh, and PhD in Nanotechnology, Law and Policy at University Malaya. Right after his PhD, he was appointed Senior Lecturer at the Faculty of Law, University Malaya, hitherto. Dr. Irshad has widely published in peer-reviewed journals and presented papers at a number of national and international conferences in his areas of interest, which is such as emerging technologies and law, and privacy and data protection law. Dr. Irshad has recently developed interest in exploring the history and philosophy of technologies, technology regulation theories, sociology of technologies, science and technology studies. Particularly, he was a member of the research team in the Industry Academia Collaborative Blockchain-based Regulatory Framework Research Project. Without further ado, I leave the stage to you, Dr. Irshad.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. Thank you so much, Mr. Muhammad and Professor Roslina, for making my job so easy. So many things has been covered. And first of all, I would like to thank Ichi Umair for contacting me and Prof. Ainuddin to invite me. This is really wonderful to be here because a lot of things I will be discussing. I mean, I'm planning to discuss is relating to history and how we see history and how various types of technologies were developed and how I'll be talking about market issues, economy, and to some extent politics, regulation, and the role of state, because whatever we see, so many things have been discussed already, like art, psychology, then your perception, then your market. So the whole question is, who decides all those things and who are there to protect people? Or because like as you heard just now, I was part of the industry and academia blockchain research project where for the first time we developed the Malaysian blockchain regulatory framework, regulatory report. So when I was invited that which part you want to take, I told them that I'll be talking about consumer protection because I feel that, I mean, I have that realization that, see, we are living in a society or we are living in a time where there are so many hypes. So many hypes. I mean, things are coming, things are going, coming, going, coming, going. And then me as a consumer, if I want to see that where should I invest, or I mean, what should I buy, what should I not buy, what I should not buy, how to take the decisions. And then the question is, I bought something and then I could not, I mean, I did not get the right product, or I want to sell it again. If my rights are affected, where should I go? As a consumer, like today's topic, I'll be discussing about e-commerce. So blockchain and e-commerce issues to this topic, I'll be discussing the legal aspects of blockchain and e-commerce. So if I face any problem, where should I go? Who is the regulator who should support me? If my money is gone, from where I should get my money back? And who is responsible? Who is responsible? I mean, who should protect me? Why should I pay tax if the government is not protecting me? And from the government's point of view, what should the government do? I mean, you need to promote innovation, industrialization, because innovation will bring more industry, then investment. Investment makes people employed. So that's fine, I understand that part, but then where is my right? Where is my right? So, because if I suffer, say for example, if I suffer 500 ringgit or 5,000 ringgit, it's my money. For you, it may be very small amount because you're rich enough, but 500 is a lot of money for me. But then do you think that for 500 I should go to the court? How much I paid to the lawyer? who is there. I mean, if the lawyer charged me 1,000, minimum charge is 1,000, but I lost only 500. So what should I do? So all these things, so when we are discussing about the project, about the research, what should I do or what should we do, then I thought that I will be taking the consumer protection. So yeah, no problem when he's fixing the technical issues. Let me tell you that, as I said, I'll be discussing about a lot of history. So before we, for lawyers, I mean academic lawyers or legal academics, for us, it is good to start our history from 1648. So that's the beginning. Before 1648, I mean, I see it in a way to teach my students. Like we know about Socrates, I mean, the way we were taught about our Western, classical Western philosophy. So it will start from the Athens. It will move to, I mean, then Jesus Christ. In between, the next milestone, Jesus Christ. For we Muslims, the next milestone is Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, 563. And after that, Thomas Aquinas, we had jumped another 500 years. And then we jumped to this Renaissance when people started fighting that we do not believe in God. God is dead. There is no such thing as God because we have this, that René Descartes, I think therefore I am. So René Descartes started talking that why should we believe in God? What is church? Why should I listen to you? I will only believe on things which I see. Which I see. So then it came to that stage, and this stage followed, I mean, Europeans, they started to feel that we are so powerful that we can create things. You see, Prof. Roslina was showing you a lot of art. What is that? The art is something which was going inside your brain, and this is the reflection. You cannot express because what is happening inside your mind? I do not know, but when you paint it, I may find an idea that, oh, this is happening. This is going on inside. So these are the things actually. Then came that period, Renaissance period. And after that, so all history we are taught or we teach in our curriculum is basically Western history. Western history. So that's why I'm focusing on Western history. So after that, what happened? What happened after Renaissance period? Then you see the former group of people, they are fighting for church and Bible. In this place, the invention of printing press played a huge role. Printing press played a huge role. So when printing press was invented, the first book that was that was printed was Bible, and the Bible was in Latin. And then in Europe, they have different languages. So they started to translate it in English, in Greek, in German, in French, in Italian, or different languages. They started to translate it. But then you will also realize that not every single word has equivalent synonyms, right? Like, what is privacy? That's a very good, I mean, thing. Or what is life to you? You tell me, do you have the equivalent word of life or love or beauty? What is beautiful? Can anyone tell me what is beautiful? See, Prof. Roslina was saying about subjective interpretation and objective interpretation. Objective interpretation, if we say subjective interpretation, why you buy NFT? I found value in it, that's what I'm buying. But for me, I will not buy it. I see only a cat there. Why should I buy? Why should I waste my money? So those kind of things. So Bible, exactly that was happened. And then we know this Lutheran government, the Protestant and Catholic fight. In Europe, they have started a fight, we call it 30 years long war, which started in the beginning of 16th century and it dragged to 1648. So for a law student, I personally teach my student that you should, these 5 minutes is your trailer and now start from here, 1648. So in 1648, for Bible, when people are fighting in Europe for 30 years, then they decided that we should stop it. It cannot go for long and long. So when they stop, the first thing they decided that based on the social contract theory, from now on we will not be fighting in the name of religion. From now on, no fighting in the name of religion. This is number one. Number two is that for English philosophers like Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, Rousseau, they proposed the theory of social contract. Social contract means a theory. It's like that the way we live in a society. We have some elders, we'll listen to him, and then he will provide us food. Right, my father, your responsibility is go out, bring food for me. And my responsibility as a son is that to obey you. So that is social contract in a way that now we come up with the concept of state. Earlier there was no state, it was more like village. It was like more like a group of people, they were living. Now we come up with the idea of state. So in a state, we decided that, Leviathan, we decided that we will form something called a government. Okay, a government will be formed and we all listen to the government. In return, the government will listen to the government, will pay taxes to the government, and in return, the government will ensure me security. Ensure me security. So modern state, for any modern state, ensuring the security of the citizen is the first and foremost duty. And what kind of security? Security of your life, security of your property, and security of your rights and liberties. So these things, it is the responsibility of the government. Your life, liberty, and body, person. These are the three things. Your life, liberty, and property. Life, liberty, property, these things a modern government must protect. And in return, what will you do? You will pay tax. You will pay tax. So that is, in simple terms, in my understanding, that is social contract theory, okay? So as we have the slides back, let me just, so this is me. This is our first blockchain report. This is available online. If you want to read, just let me know, then we'll be sharing it. I'm happy to share. Privacy and personal data protection law is very close to my heart. And whatever you were talking about, technologies, any kind of technologies, I heard someone ask you a question, someone asked the question, metadata, whether that can be an asset. That is relating to, again, privacy and personal data. So I wrote about data protection law in Asia. In our second edition, we covered 14 jurisdictions. Then we are working on our third edition. We'll be adding 2 more or 3 more jurisdictions now, and we are still working on that. Then I have written on emerging technologies, how to regulate emerging technologies in Malaysian context, though in this book we covered only nanotechnologies and renewable energies, how to regulate. And then because I'm originally from Bangladesh, as you have heard, I have written on cyber law in Bangladesh and environmental law in Bangladesh, because one large part of my PhD thesis was on environmental impact of nanomaterials. This is my latest publication. It is relating to privacy and personal data in the context of Bangladesh again. Just 2-3 weeks ago, or not, last month it was published, okay. So I'll be discussing about, as I told you, historical background, some historical background, what technological aspects, and political to some extent I have already covered. That whenever you think of regulation, the first people that will come to your mind is the government. Who is the government? Who is the regulator? Who is the regulator? What is your role? Your role is to listen to them, and in return they will protect you, give your protection in relation to your property, your safety. That is their responsibility. Then communication. Throughout human history, communication. See, Prof. Rosina was saying that who creates the hype? Who communicates it? I will tell you that this is very important. This watch is valuable. Are you going to buy this? And someone like Donald Trump, he's wearing the same watch. Who communicates? So we'll be discussing to some extent. And then in this world, everything is money. So if we do not understand trade aspect of anything, if we do not understand finance aspect or economic aspect of anything, and then ideology, two main ideologies, one is capitalism and one is socialism. And then in between we have some social democrats, there are so many, but these are the two main ideologies. So I normally teach my students, or I tell them that anytime anyone coming to sell you something, ask yourself in two groups where you are. Are you considering it from socialist point of view, or are you considering it from capitalist point of view? Then what is technologies? The wonderful history of technology is that, and why I'm so happy to be here is because of this. I was looking at all those things, artifacts, and all these historic things. One definition of technology is anything that assists a human being is technology. Anything that assists a human being. So technology is a tool. Earlier, people had no glass. So what did they used to do? Use your hand. Take water, right? Use your hand. Go to the river, take water, drink. So use your hand is a technology. If we say technology means tool, now think about these things. Instead of hand, now we are using these glasses. Are these things technologies? Back to, we'll come back again here. So technology is defined as a tool, and then it is believed that technology is neutral. Technology has no power to do good and bad. It is the human being who is sitting behind. He will decide. Okay. And the next thing is that technologies are very much culture dependent. Prof. Rosalina was sharing the importance of culture. So it is very much culture dependent. So all these products, you see the same plates coming up with different shape. And these products, these plates are not meaningless. Let's try to think about our, ancestors. Why they gave these plates this shape and not this shape? There must have some reason. It is again COVID. Prof. Roslina mentioned that it is only COVID. My story of COVID is unique, I would say. I was also trapped in Malaysia. My family was in Bangladesh. 3 years, I was all alone. And that is the time I got the opportunity to read history and philosophy. And I'm so thankful to Allah that, yeah, it happened. Because that is the only time you can read. I did PhD here, but you know PhD means go to the library. You have so many things, go to the conferences, meet supervisor. Now you have nothing to do, stay at home. So Prophet Muhammad, he was doing meditation. So I was feeling that what would happen? Every single minute you are ready to die. Every single minute. And if you open YouTube, if you open anything, you just people are dying. Nobody's caring. Nobody's coming to bury you. People are burning you. People are throwing you in the river. In Italy, people died on road street. You watch news. So that is the feeling who you are. What are you doing? What is the life for? Why you care about life so much? All these things are related to value, price, commodity, service. Do you really need so many things? What did you do during COVID? What was the purpose of your BMW during COVID? What was the purpose of that? Could you use that? What will happen if you die now? All these things, when I say people share my experience to others, then people will say that I'm socialist, I'm communist, maybe I'm Marx. No, I'm just requesting you that it will start. What is the purpose of your life? Do you really need all those things? So I personally feel that if we can, if you can find answers to these few questions, life is really beautiful. You really do not need to worry much. So for NFT, my son is here. He was asking that what will happen if the price of NFT go down. I was just thinking that think about agriculture. When we were basically farmers, our ancestors were farmers. They used to go out Whatever they could get, they would bring it home. Made some fruits, some fish, then our mothers would cook, right? Life was that. Now we have so many things. So many things. And these are all relating to e-commerce. I'll be covering to some extent. I mean, the world is designed in a way that you become slaves forever and you keep buying. You keep buying, non-stop buying. We'll be covering to some extent, okay. So in agro-based society, then came feudalism. Earlier it was agro-based. We used to go to the field, whatever we used, then we had that agricultural revolution. Agricultural revolution means you start to farm systematically. Now you know that every 3 months this crop you can yield, right? And every year this time, this is the winter season. So you grow this fruit, this crop. So we do it systematically. We started to preserve seeds, because we can use, so that we can use next semester or next year. After that, what happened? After that, so earlier people used to grow crops for his family only. But now you realize that you have some extra and you cannot destroy it. What to do? Exchange. I have more rice, you have more fish. Okay, I give you rice, you give me fish. I don't have sufficient fish. And this brings to this world of mercantilism. Mercantilism, you start selling and buying, selling and buying. The so-called that Silk Road, people started to move it, I mean, from here to here, here. And then we have this capitalism and socialism idea, it's coming. And these are all relating to, again, the technologies. Now again, let's go back to history. Here are some of the technologies. Let me remind you that when we decided in 1648 that we will not be fighting anymore, Europeans, they will not be fighting anymore in the name of religion, in the name of religion, you know what happened? You have nothing to do now. Europe is a small continent. You have nothing to do now if you do not fight. Because if you fight, then you can collect some resources, right? You go and collect some resources from other. So that is that time, that was one of the most important purpose of war. You need to bring property, you need to bring resources, right? Now you cannot fight anymore. What will you do? What will you do? And at the same time, during that time, these Renaissance kind of things started to happen. So what will you do now? What will you do now? Now you start to go to other continent. Colonialism started. Why they came other part of this world? They came to different parts of the world for different products or spices. This part, Asia, they came for spices basically. Java, Malacca, India, mostly spices and our clothes. So they came this side for that purpose. In the African side, they went for sugar cane, other part for coffee, other part for another product. So that's how they started moving. And at certain point of time, they found that this is so profitable. You take it from here, sell it there, take it here, sell it there. After they started slave trading, because all these native people, I mean, they were not that critical in mind, right? Simple people, ordinary people, they will teach you something. I see still some of the Malaysians are so simple. They cannot even calculate. I realize that. I mean, they will just give me whatever you want. It's like that. And if you see some of the shops, you go and scan your wallet, the shopkeeper will not even verify have you paid the exact fee. So, and now you think about 400 years ago, people are so simple, and gradually these European people, very good at politics, they created their own groups. They made the society now classification that you are Amir and you are servant. See the concept of Orientalism. Everything coming from Europe is good. Everything white people are doing best, and whatever the East they are doing, no, this is not world standard. This is not the standard. So then we see the slave, making people slave. Slave trade started. As I told you, the definition of technology means it is a tool. Now the concept is, can the slave be a tool? Is he a tool? Because he is helping you. The definition of technology, if it is a tool that assists a human being, can a slave be a tool then? Exactly, he's a tool, because slave had no rights then. You had to work almost, I mean, anytime your master will call you, come and serve me. So you know why the word freedom coming? It is relating to slaves. Slaves are not free. You cannot say anything. You have no choice. No. And that is what Uncle Tom's gave in the very book, classic book, that historical book, I mean, which inspired American governments to ban slave trading. So that's a fantastic description of what is a slave. So the slaves, you can, I mean, it depends. If the master give you some food, eat, otherwise serve. There is another book, Roots. So the master, I mean, do whatever you want, but you cannot do anything. That's the simple term. So now, after that, slave trading, and this is also documented, the amount of money British people earned trading slaves, unbelievable. From Caribbean part to other part, even from USA to other part. I mean, the amount of money they earned, unbelievable. So they used to bring the slaves from Africa. They used to bring, because they are, I mean, physically they are very fit. Africans, Caribbeans, very fit, with all due respect, and nothing racism here. I'm just talking about their physical fitness comparing to our part of this world. We are not that fit. So we were good at farming, but they were good at serving. So they were traded. They were traded. You know this, our Shakespeare's book, our very much Merchant of Venice. So all these things, slave trading. So Europeans, they bought all the slaves. And most of the European countries were colony. I mean, they were the colonials. You say UK, I mean British people, French people, to some extent German, Portuguese, then Spanish, all. So they used to bring the slaves. So they used to trade it to the rich people of the society. After that, all on a sudden, we had this French Revolution. French Revolution, 1789, if I'm not mistaken. 1789. French Revolution. So what is it? French Revolution is saying that everyone is equal. There is no master, there is no slave. We are all human beings. So that introduced the system of slave trade banning. Now you think, what will happen now? Earlier you had 10 people to support you. Now you don't have anyone. Slave trade is banned. You have no one. Slaves are like your commodity you could sell. I have a slave, for example, I have a slave. I could sell it to you. And depending on the age, depending on your physical structure, depending on, I mean, how hardworking you are, the price could be up and down. Okay. So after this French Revolution, and why this is so historic in our modern day world is that after this French Revolution, now we decided that we are all equal in the eye of law. So slave trade started to ban. So once we ban slaves trading, I mean, we cannot now own any slave, we cannot trade any slave, but then who is going to serve me? Try to understand. Earlier, I had 10 people to wash my clothes. Earlier, I had people to clean my house, do this, do that. Now I don't have anyone. What to do? Now we started to inventing things. Instead of slave, now we introduce washing machine. You get my point? Instead, earlier people, there are people who used to do the work of a fan for you. There were long clothes. They used to do like this. Rich people, they had a curtain like thing, and then used to pull like this, so the cloth will move like this, and you will feel cold. I mean, like this. Now slave no more, and you cannot do and you cannot enjoy, right? Human being, we cannot. Now we introduce fan. So anytime I personally talk about technologies, you cannot ignore this historical part, slave trading related to technologies. So after that, what happened? We started to see industrial revolution, and it has very close connection with the slave trading. So how industrial revolution started? It started with steam engine. Right? People started to generate power, something that will support you. We had water wheel, they call it, Prof, right? I mean, you said in the Nile River, the way water flow will be coming, and we call it fan-like thing. I mean, it will be moving, and then power will be generated, and you can use that power for moving something else. So this is how automation will start again. Automation, I mean, what is automation? I mean, you do not need to be involved, but it will be working. It will be serving you. So with the steam engine, we invented rail train. We invented car. And all these things started to make human being powerful. And at a similar time, we see now economic development also. You have extra. Now you can make more. Earlier, when you alone used to walk from one place to another and you could carry some goods, you could take maybe 20 kgs in one day. But now you have a car, or you have a horse now. Now you can carry a lot. Business and economy, all these things are coming. So the second industrial revolution, we say it starts with electricity, and third industrial revolution will start with computer. So here are first industrial revolution, second industrial revolution. We are in the fourth industrial revolution. The fourth industrial revolution, the thing we will be talking today is NFT is a part of fourth industrial revolution. But again, there are some philosophical debates whether there is anything called fourth industrial revolution, because fourth industrial revolution is run by third industrial revolution, which is computer. Everything is dependent on computer. And you have a car, but you do not have fuel. What will happen? You have a car, luxurious car. I do not know. For me, Mercedes and BMW are the most expensive. As I told you, okay, for me, everything is okay. So you have Bugatti. Yeah, you have that expensive car, but you don't have fuel. What will happen? What is the purpose of this car now? Anything? Even museums will not take the car, right? Unless it is driven by Tunku Abdul Rahman. I mean, so historically important. So these are run on fuel, right? If you have fuel, but one tire is defective, can the car run? Still can. I mean, if one tire is defective, okay, let's think. If you have a car, you have fuel, but one seat is defective, can it run? One seat is not working. Still you can walk. You don't have fuel, the car useless, right? Unless and until you collect the parts and you sell it to someone, spare parts as a spare parts. So for car, the purpose of fuel, for computer, the fuel is your personal data. So when people work with energy, science people work with energy, now you think, now you see the importance of energy to science people. Data is equally important to we people, we are dealing with computer, okay? Without data, now you think, can you open your computer without sharing any personal information? Can you open? When you are opening the computer, you use password, right? That is personal data. That is your personal data. You go to internet, use your password, use your email address, personal data. You have your, this, someone was asking about metadata. Metadata means your timestamp. I mean, from when you open the account, when the file was created, see, the date, time, and then location. These are all metadata. I mean, precisely not related, but very important. So these are metadata. So personal data works like the fuel of a car. So that is why this is so important that we work to protect personal data. Personal data is the, I mean, the lifeblood of artificial intelligence. The more and more and more and more data you will be giving, AI will be working. AI will, because AI works on data. Huge set of data. Large language model, we say huge set of data. The more and more neural networking, all these things, it can only work if you feed it with huge amount of data. Because the amount of data will be feeding, you will be giving options, various options. You know what is machine learning? Machine learning means, can a Turing test, can a computer differentiate whether this is a human being or whether this is a computer? So this kind of thing. So it will only happen if you feed it more and more data. Now let's jump to 1900, year 1900. What happened in 1900? Again, First World War. After this 1648, the major event is our First World War. First World War. In between, capitalism finished, industrial revolution started. Colonialism finished, industrial revolution started. Then we have again First World War. After this First World War, now First World War, what we see after this First World War, again economic depression, again the rise of nationalist governments. Nationalist governments, meaning that we are the best. We are the best. Again, it's coming. And then we see during Hitler era, then Hitler started to collect individual personal information. Who is supporting the opposition? You have the list of people. And then you go and you identify every single person and you shoot. That's how you control your criticisms, because these nationalist governments, they will frequently tell you that whatever we are doing it for your good. We are developing the country. Why? Social contract theory give you that authority that anything good for the people, you can do it. Now who is the person to decide what is good for me? How come you decide even without talking to me? So you will start criticizing the government, right? The good way to move forward is to shoot him. I mean, you just remove. I mean, don't talk. Don't talk. So that is what Hitler did. And then we have this Second World War. So during the Second World War, when Hitler started to kill all these Jews, a lot of Jews moved to USA, including Einstein, right? And then we see the Manhattan Project. Can anyone stop Hitler? Anyone stop Hitler? We have this Manhattan Project, we have these atom bombs, war, and then we come to the Second World War. That's how Second World War stopped. After the Second World War, now we see the ideology war now. Who is best? Russia best? USA best? Russia is coming from the socialist idea and USA is coming from capitalistic idea. Market oriented means everything has a value. You create the hype. Everything has a value. This time, another important thing happened, that is cargo-based shipping started. Why this is important? And this changed the human history actually, the way we see. When it is cargo-based, when you were successful to move cargo from, across Atlantic, across Pacific, now you can bring a lot of product from that part to that part. What is the main crops for Malaysia? Agricultural crops? Rubber. Any vegetable? Any vegetable? But if you go to supermarket, plenty of vegetables. From where it is coming? from different parts of this world. And how it is these are coming? Cargo ship. Cargo ship. So this is that important in our modern history, that cargo shipping that started successfully in 1956. Now Cold War started, ideological Cold War started, and so-called proxy war started. These Russia and USA, they were fighting each other like in Ukraine now. Russia is fighting with Ukraine, but Ukraine is supported by others, West, right? So behind Ukraine, so this is what proxy war going on, Cold War going on, ideological Cold War going on. This time, Russia was successful to send the first artificial satellite, Sputnik. So again, now, I mean, they were successful to send the Sputnik, and this is again is significant or a milestone in human history. And why the satellite was set? For communication purpose. For communication purpose, like if you are in 102nd floor, 100th floor of Twin Tower, for example, the way you could see everything very clear, who is doing what, who is doing around. So that's the importance of satellite actually. Why satellite is so important? It can view you, it can monitor you. So when Russia was successful to set the satellite, USA people, scientists, they found it a threat for their national security. Again, national security. Why security is so important? National security. So they thought that if Russia is successful, Russia may damage their communication system. And if communication is not working properly, if you're fighting in the border and if you cannot send the signal to your we call it military leader that you do that, he cannot move, right? So communication is very important, very important. So that's how communication with this project, ARPANET, we created. USA scientists, they were successful to create internet. This is local networking actually. Computer already started, and then this is local networking, that without transferring the data, I mean physical thing, you can now transfer using the networking, the way we share files one computer to another computer. So this is all about internet, okay? Now, when internet, nobody created internet. This is a venture, or I mean it is I would say that people from different jurisdictions, they contributed different parts of internet. So someone created the logo, someone created the networking system, someone created the plug, so many things. But the ARPANET project, I think their main main contribution was that they were successful in the networking, inter-computer networking. And then we have this packet switching technologies, that you will be sending information batch by batch, and it will happen fraction of seconds, that we really do not know or realize how we receive an email from someone to another. In my computer, I was sending him the PowerPoint slides. In my computer, it was 4.6 MB. How it was transferred? Packet by packet actually. So my whole file was sliced into small parts, and it was sent. We call it packet switching. So then this Cold War is going on, still going on. Russia is doing something, USA do something else. So fighting going on, and USA and Europe collectively we call them West, and Russia is China, India, we are East. So this Cold War is going on. Then a significant thing happened in 1990, the Berlin Wall. Germany was an interesting case study because we had East Germany and West Germany. And that is the case study for this ideological war. East Germany, it was socialist. East Germany was socialist. But West Germany, present Germany, our Germany, this is capitalist. Okay. So East Germany was not successful in development. Russia was funding, it was not successful, but West Germany, they were really successful because the West took it as a prestige issue. So they were reforming, reconstructing the country because Germany was seriously affected during the Second World War. So they were reconstructing this. And then what happened? In 1990, it was Germany, the Berlin Wall damaged, destroyed. And then we have this Mikhail Gorbachev, Russian president. He came up with this radical ideologies. And some people believe that that was the end of Cold War. That was the end of Cold War. And there are some interesting books that the end of the history. History has been written and you don't need to read back. Now move forward. It's like that. Now see why this is so important. This historical aspect is so important. It's because these after the Second World War, after 1990 German wall, then USA they opened the internet. Earlier the internet was only for education purpose and military purpose because it was for communication related thing. Now they opened the internet for public use, and somewhere in mid 1990s they opened the internet for everyone now. Everyone. And e-commerce industry is the first industry that was, since today, and that's why you see who are the richest people in the world. All the people who are dealing with e-commerce. Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Microsoft, all of these things are, coming from that part of this world. So internet was invented, and e-commerce industry, the first most, they are that is the industry that was most benefited from these. Then we see wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. These are some technical terms, but what is wave 1? I know I can see some of you from my age. You see, when we used to use computer at the very first, early days of computer, that computer was basically, you could just read something, not interactive, it was not interactive. But then we have this wave 2. Wave 2 is bit interactive. Now you have Facebook posting, now you can write something, you can get reply. Earlier, it was like you read, not interactive, it was one way. Now it is interactive. Now we have these different types of multimedia. Now, earlier, the initial days of internet, you could only read. Now you could watch movies, you can listen to songs, whatnot. You can do everything now. And then wave 3 is relating to NFT, where machines will be talking to each other. It is a system that will be talking to each other without any human involvement. So here, cloud-based, all these Internet of Things, all these things will be here. Now, all these things, as I told you, if you do not keep in mind the ideological war going on, socialism, capitalism, and where you are, it is not possible to understand the world. So it is all about, we call it surveillance capitalism. Surveillance capitalism. You are monitored. Why? You see, now you open your handphone, you will see notification. LinkedIn will tell you, hey, we don't see you, we are missing you, where are you? You did not check in, your friend has posted that. Anytime you buy something from Adidas, immediately it will come that we introduce a new design. Will you have in mind, look, everything is done intentionally. Why? This is capitalism. They want to sell the product even if you do not need it. Then what happened between 1995 to 2008? What happened? We have this Facebook. Then in 2008, we had a serious global financial crisis. And why the crisis happened is because people were saying that because of the inefficiencies, or sorry, the right would be, the regulators who were supposed to protect the investors and general people, the regulators did not do their work properly. That's why we introduced this Satoshi Nakamoto. He came up with the idea of a decentralized system, which is blockchain. Now you try to understand again blockchain. Here are some of the features of blockchain already discussed. Blockchain is decentralized, meaning that there will not be any centralized regulator. Then fewer third parties, then it is distributed. Then it is a digital ledger. trustless operation, and then transparent and probable. It was mentioned that you can follow everything in blockchain, then it is immutable, you cannot change anything, irrevocable, and then first settlement, and it has enhanced security. So again, now try to understand, we created the government, right, to give us protection, but blockchain is saying that no government is needed. Here comes the issue of NFT again. If you buy and then if you face any problem, where to go? Who will give you? And is it the role of the government to guide you every time again? I mean, what you will buy, what you will not buy, you should decide, right? Say for example, you are planning to buy an Adidas shoe. Do you think the government will come every time that, hey, you should buy this, you should not buy this? Do you think the government should do, the government can do? If the government does, then you will say that it is infringement of your privacy. You are interfering in my life. Let me do whatever I want. If the government does not do that, if you face any problem, now you are making government responsible. That why did not you stop then? If it would not be here, I would not buy. I would not face this problem. So it was your problem. With regard to blockchain, we have a number of issues relevant. These are the things: NFTs, then smart contract. NFT is just a product, right? In the blockchain ecosystem, these are some of the technical words, and I think Prof. Ainuddin will, he is the person who could guide us better. Now, I'm at the very last part of my presentation. All over the world, the current trend is that there are three main models of regulation. Whatever I'm saying so far, because we created the government to protect us, right? To regulate things, the regular state affairs. So how to protect, how to do the regulation, how to do all these things? We have three main models. Number one is USA market-based model. Market. Everything is market. Everything is saleable. Even your personal, that's why you see the pornographic things, it has a market. Everything has a market in the USA. So market based, and then the second one is right based EU approach. EU approach is, it's basically, it will protect its citizens. Okay, that's their main vision or mission, to protect the people. And all the social contract theory coming from the European, right, I shared already. And then the last one is Chinese model, which is 100% state sponsored or state backed. Whatever the government will do, state should, always the interest of the state will be prevailed. In the European Union, the interest of the citizens will be prevailed. In the USA, the interest of the market will be prevailed. So these are the three main models, and all these models, they have strengths and weaknesses. Now, e-commerce law. Whenever we say e-commerce, we basically mean, as a lawyer, we basically mean four things. Number one, that e-commerce law will be dealing with e-transaction matters. E-transaction, online transaction thing. Number two is consumer protection. Number three is privacy and personal data. And number four is cyber crime. These are the four things. So blockchain, if you use in e-commerce ecosystem, these are the areas you should or we should consider. Then that will be legal. These are Malaysian laws, list of Malaysian laws: electronic commerce law, consumer protection law. Malaysia, a good amount of law you can find in Malaysia. So these are the things. I don't want to go details of this law, but Prof was asking about anti-money laundering. Yes, that one is also protected. Malaysian government, I personally feel that doing fantastic. Believe me, it's not that I'm serving Malaysia. I'm working here. As I told you, I'm coming from Bangladesh, and I know that in Bangladesh, the the telecommunication system, your TM's private wing, which is Oziata, if I'm not mistaken. They're one of the first operators. They went to Bangladesh, and every time I teach my course, I feel so proud that I'm here and I see very closely how Malaysia is doing, progressing, and yeah, that's it. So that's all about from me. One last thing that we were discussing about energy efficiency of blockchain. Now, blockchain is, as we are also discussing, that these media or these, they will create hype always. This is the best, this is the best. Now, blockchain technologies have some weaknesses also. Weaknesses means that you should always try to understand. I give this example that literally from here to here, if I need to go from here to here, do I need a aircraft? From here to here, I can simply jump, right? But if I want to go to from here to University LRT station, I may consider car. But I want to go to here to Penang. What will be the options? What will be the options? What will be the options? So anytime any technology is introduced, ask yourself the question, what is my need? What I want to do? What I want to do? So blockchain is not a solution for everything. It will be a waste of money if, I mean, considering all the, we are working on another project, Malaysia-China blockchain supply chain, and working with Dr. Saidal from computer science faculty. And we are trying to, that one is basically the port operation. In port operation, you need a lot of documentation, hundreds of thousands of documentation you need, supply chain, all this stamping, so many things, because so many products will be coming and Malaysia will be exporting. So a lot of documentation needed. Maybe blockchain is an issue. Blockchain is a suitable option. But if you want to sell your garden products online, you make cake, you want to sell it online, do you think you need a blockchain to maintain how many cakes you make every day, how many you want to sell, who has called you? Blockchain, no. So I see blockchain is like another option we have. If you really need it, consider it, but it is not a solution for everything. Thank you so much. I'm open to question.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Irshad, for the exquisite presentation and enlightening answer, an enlightening one. It is our pleasure to have you here. And I understand that everyone has been getting drowsy and a little bit sleepy, right? So with that, because it is almost 3 hours, right? We are having this forum. So with that, our forum is at its end. Before we dismiss, we want to present some souvenir to our esteemed speakers for their dedication to make this intellectual discourse a success. Dengan hormatnya, majlis menjemput Yang Berusaha Profesor Teknologis Dr. Nur Badrul Anwar ke hadapan untuk menyampaikan cenderahati kepada para panelis dengan diiringi oleh Puan Zahira. Kalau ada. No, okay. Okay. Dipersilakan Cik Muhammad.
Kejap, dia kan tak jadi.
Duplicate. Tolong duplicate ya. Tolong duplicate ya. Backdrop. Okey. Dipersilakan para panelis, attention. Dipersilakan Cik Muhammad untuk menerima. Seterusnya, Profesor Madya Dr. Roslina Ismail. Next, dipersilakan Profesor Madya Dr. Irsyadul Karim. Mohon yang berusaha Profesor Ainuddin dan para pembentang untuk kekal di atas pentas bagi sesi gambar ramai-ramai ya. Dan bersama-sama para peserta sekali bagi kita akan ada dengan para panelis dulu, kemudian kita dengan para peserta. Okey, mohon para peserta bergambar sama-sama. Kita gambar one big shot. Come over here, let's take a picture together. Participant and esteemed guests. Gita. Kak Diana. Dengan itu, berakhirlah forum NFT kita pada hari ini. On behalf of the event committee, I would like to apologize if there were mistakes and errors throughout the event. Majlis juga ingin mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada semua tetamu yang hadir dan semua anggota jawatan kuasa majlis yang telah terlibat. Sebelum bersurai, para tetamu dijemput untuk menjamu selera dan ataupun boleh mengambil makanan yang disediakan di belakang. Prof, para panelis boleh kita jamu, ada jamuan yang disediakan. Bukan saya punya, bagi Kak Diana. Para panelis diminta jangan balik lagi. Kena makan dulu bersama dengan Ketua Pustakawan. Dan para